All right, what are we talking about today?
All right, man. Well, we're gonna talk about business and
Heck yeah,
just entrepreneurship, man.
kill him. I don't know if
Yeah,
the mic will
yeah.
pick that
Might be
up.
the FBI since it's me and you have me in here now.
Yeah,
So
yeah, right. I'm checking our text messages and stuff like that. I guess we'll kind of just start with telling our stories and how like you got to where you're at right now because you just went through like a really big transition.
truly a success story. I started on the ground floor. Unloading trailers. Basically that entry level position,
Yeah.
and took a supervisory role.
Did you have a degree to
No,
get that? Yeah.
no degree.
I love that part.
Um, we'll get a little bit more on that
Yeah.
later, how I feel really about those. But
Like we have similar ideas
yes,
about those.
for all of you listening, it's a waste of money.
It is.
I mean, if you're going to be a doctor or engineer, I don't really even know so much about engineers now.
Yeah.
I'll get into that, but complete waste of money. But yeah, just a lot of hard work. I was became a supervisor. Then I got promoted to an area manager role. Kind of funny story on that is the general manager called me one day at home, and you got to think this is like really pre cell phones, like my house phone rang and we had like the caller ID box, and
Yeah.
it said the facility, and I was like, oh God, what did I do?
Hmm.
And he's like, hey Jason, what's your career plans? What's your thoughts? And I said, I want to keep continuing to move up and do a good job. And he's like, well, what's your thoughts on being an area manager? And I said, well, that's what I'm working towards. And he's like, good. You've actually been one for 2 weeks. And I was like,
Surprise.
cool,
Yeah.
and I didn't apply or anything. And, it's just kind of that tap on the shoulder. And he said, just come in my office Monday and, we'll talk pay and all that stuff. And Monday came,
How
and
much was that raise, if you don't mind me asking?
so I started out, again, this was 23 years ago. My first area manager position paid $28,500.
Wow.
And I really felt that I hit the lottery.
Hmm.
And, and then, came with it some bonus and, some stock. But, I finally felt like, man, I'm the person that can make the decisions,
Yeah.
and little did I find out in the corporate world, you don't get to make those decisions.
Right.
Um, and ended up, being pretty successful in that role. And then I took another role of promotion to actually go start up a facility, which was hell.
Mm.
And when you look at this, the field I worked in was supply chain, and this was actually a grocery distribution center, and it was a state of the art center at the time. And me and my buddy were like, we're going there. Like,
Yeah.
this is going to be so cool, and it sucked.
Yeah.
When you looked at, trying to hire 1,000 people, trying to set the culture, trying to set the tone.
And also, like a big role was like efficiency in the facility, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. That's I'm gonna I'm gonna have a ton of questions about efficiency for you.
Yep.
When we move over to the shop in there. So
Well, and that was, that's big. I mean, you really, no matter what you're starting up, you really kind of have one time to do it right.
yeah, for sure.
And I even look at, I don't care if you're starting a lawn mowing business or a dog walking business. It's always important that you take the time and put, the proper things in place. If it's painting the trailer for a lawn mowing business or getting the right leashes, you want to start out on that right foot,
Yeah.
because you're going to fight it if you don't.
Yeah. That's why it was so stressful, like running the electrical over there. I'm like, he's like, where do you want your big machines? I was like, I think right here. I was like, I'm trying to figure out like where it's best to place things. And yeah.
Well, it's, and on that, a building rule is you can never have enough outlets.
Yeah. Oh, you should see this. We got outlets every like 3 yard or 3 feet probably.
You just can't, because you want to have that flexibility built into it. So then I took was there in that facility for about 10 years, different positions, and we were actually the culture we built was we were VC of the year 4 times in a row. And that was our mission. We wanted to be the best, and really everyone around was, had that same mission. And we had a simple slogan, and it was one team, one goal. And when you do this corporate stuff, you kind of do your mission planning and all this stuff. And we probably spent $150,000 to try to come up with this stuff. And really the simplest solution was one team, one goal. And that was really the attitude that the leadership had and the associates, and it was just really everybody working together to get the job done. And it was really, it was a good time. It was, a lot of stress, but, to see those, those plaques in the wall and get called up on the stage. And, it was a very rewarding, part of my career. Then I took a different role, and this is for you, people that are entrepreneurs, that work inside of companies. I always had I see that poster up there, mindset, but it was truly the mindset of, I want to learn as much about the business, so I'm just valuable, and I built up them skills. So I took a safety manager role, and went to another facility that didn't have really the greatest safety program, and had to just really change that, that perception. And I pissed a lot of people off in the beginning. Because things that they were doing, I'm like, hey, you can't do them. And I didn't really want to be like the mall cop, but it's just how it ended up, kind of being. And I learned a valuable lesson from that, is just build those relationships first, instead of coming in with that hammer. And
There's, just from like the beginning and just to where you're at in the story right now, there are so many different ways I've wanted to take this, but like the introductory, we're gonna have to go back and watch this and like figure out which one we want to dig deep into. Like, we're gonna have multiple modules, I feel like.
Definitely. Like I told you before, this white beard and no hair is really just been knowledge. And but I went back, I took that role, really changed how safety was perceived in the facility. And we had a OSHA incident rate of like 6-7%, which is horrific. And we brought it down to below 1%, which was, phenomenal. And really what it was just teaching people that they matter. And they, like their value of being a human, doesn't outweigh, anything else. But then COVID happened, and that was a big, kick in the dick. Just, you got tired of telling people about masks.
How hard was that to get everybody to comply with the mask? Where was that facility at?
Just down the road here.
Down the road, in Illinois.
And the thing is you had, 50% of the people thought that they were going to die. And the other 50% thought it was, a complete hoax, a myth. And
where we're at is very split up, because we do have, like, Illinois is blue, but usually like where we're at is like very red. So, but we're still like close enough to where I feel like we do have some split there. So I'm sure managing that was something.
Oh, it was just, it was daily. And, I kind of look at those roles. It really actually created some PTSD in me.
I bet.
Because, when you look at like your business and you land, a big order, or you have, content that, gets 7 million views, that's a win. And, really that position, there was never a win.
There's never a win.
It was always like, somebody tried to steal a cell phone, or this guy cut his arm off, or whatever that was. So, I decided it's like, man, I need to shift gears, and, took a quality role, which, I like that. Then I took a continuous improvement role, which is, that'll help you down the road over here. 'Cause, it was really, like lean methodology, 5S in areas, kind of nerdy data stuff. And then my last role, I was a director of implementation for the Ecom network.
Mhm.
Uh, Loved the job. I mean, I that was my career go-to job, and I got to travel the country, um, eat wherever I wanted, drive the
Mhm.
coolest rental cars, and here just recently there was a shift, where I had to return to the office, so that meant I had to basically pick up my life and move to Bentonville, Arkansas.
Mhm.
Um, which Bentonville's beautiful, but it just wasn't in the cards. So, kind of here we're at. I've always had the entrepreneur mindset. I've always had, you know, different businesses in the past, and
And
now,
you've been growing your skills in corporate this whole time,
oh
kind of
yeah,
preparing you for where you're at right now.
yeah, they did. I mean, I'll tell you. I mean, I really received millions of dollars of free training.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
through just leadership lessons, having the ability to grow my career. Um, I'll share a story real quick about just public speaking,
Yeah.
and everybody has a fear of it,
Mhm.
and um, I remember the first time I ever got up on the stage and spoke in front of probably 150, 200 people. I'm like, man, I got this,
Yeah.
and I get up there, and I get the microphone, and as I'm talking, I can hear my voice.
I know. I know. I just did this. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden, like as I'm speaking, there's a what's that, a couple second delay,
Yeah. Yeah.
then and it's coming
Mhm.
back to me, and I was like, oh, do I sound that way? And I remember I started shaking,
Yeah.
and then I got so nervous, and then I knew I was nervous,
Mhm.
and then it got like worse, and then I just could not wait to get off that stage.
Yeah. And then when you're off, were you like, man, I want to get back on though? Did you have that in you at all?
Well, what actually happened is I had a co-manager of mine. She was a female manager, but she was kind of like a dude, and she just busted my balls. And she gets up, she's like, "Oh my god!" She goes like, "You were horrible." And I was like, "Hey, thanks for the encouragement." She's like, "Oh, here's you. Hi, my name's Jason." And so it made it worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
And really that mindset and that toughness,
Mhm.
that I learned through that, I was like, you know what, I've got to get better at this.
Yeah.
And
I've
so
just did that. Yeah.
any opportunity that I got, I took advantage of it.
Mhm.
If somebody wanted to cover something that was unpopular, I'm like, hey, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And I think the largest group I spoke in front of was around 5,000 people.
It's quite a big amount of people. Like we just had 60 in a room, and that felt like full. That felt like a 5,000
Yeah.
stadium size people.
Well, and for you and your event, it's a big deal.
Mhm.
Because you're wanting to build that,
Yeah.
and you're wanting everything to come off like perfect.
Yeah.
And I guess what I learned is there's never perfect.
Yeah.
y- y-
Oh,
you
there's
know,
always going to be something.
and the key parts that those, you could have forgot to say 20, 30 things that you
Yeah.
rehearsed, but if there was really those couple key takeaways, then that's a success.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So
My
go ahead.
No, you're good.
So how was that there, that event, was that the first time you really got in front of that many people?
So so growing up, like you have like the school presentations and stuff like that. I used to have like crippling anxiety. Like I was a kid, shaky voice, and like I'm like I don't even know if the stuff on the screen the presentation that I built, I don't even know if that's like correct information or not. So I think that's what I would get nervous about. But with the business stuff, I'm like, okay, I actually like I know enough to bring value to these people. If someone's going to do it, it might as well be me. And that brought my nerves down so much. Like, cause I was actually prepared. I didn't realize that when you actually feel prepared going into it, you are less nervous. I had no idea. So that was like, I want to say that's probably the biggest crowd. 60 is probably the big, well, actually there was probably 300. And when we had that ice cream truck. We did an ice cream truck and raised money for missionaries, and we spoke at a camp. like in Carlinville, Illinois. That was probably the biggest. But even there, I was like, they're just asking me questions. I don't have to. Interview style is way easier than giving like a presentation as well. I'll throw that out.
Yeah, but how old were you when you did that?
18 or 19.
That's a
I'd
lot.
say. That's a lot.
That's a lot for a, an 18-year-old or a 19-year-old.
I think it was 18. I want to say, yeah.
And I looked at, I've interviewed literally tens of thousands of people.
Yeah.
For roles and stuff. And I look back to a lot of the 18, 19-year-olds that I interviewed, and, they're just, they were awful.
Yeah.
And I think we need to do an episode someday just on the interview.
I would love to do that, actually. That would be awesome.
But you, as you kind of work, you work through that. Like, I told you before, I think a key takeaway in those situations is always like, tell your story. What was this, the steps, and then what's this, I'm sorry, tell your story, the solve, and then your next steps.
Yeah.
And you captivate people, with your story. Yeah. And you have a great story.
Oh, thank you. You too. I appreciate it.
I mean, and that's what, like really intrigued me, and the partnership that, we're building through businesses,
Mm-hmm.
is, kind of back to the college thing. Everybody's like, oh, you got to go to college. You got to go to college. And
listen, the best thing I got from college was the friends I made and connections I made down there, but I did not have to spend 40 plus grand to make those connections.
Yeah. And
we'll have an episode on college.
Yeah. But you really can, but when you look at, those, relationships and, what you get out of it, yeah, it costs you 40 grand, but hell, you can take that 40 grand and invest in a business.
Invest in a business, spend that 40 grand on events. I mean, make the connections at the events. That way it's returning to you. Your investment's returning immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we could go all day on that.
And that's a tip though for the audience. One of the new business adventures we're doing. What I love is I like to take people that, have the ambition, have the drive, have the motivation, but they don't have that skill set yet.
Yes. Yeah.
And really that's the intent I, love to do with this stuff, is to kind of, to teach that. And, one of the business adventures we're getting into now is this bin washing business.
Mm-hmm.
And, my partner in it, great guy, has never run a business.
Yeah.
And, so I'm like walking him through those steps of what to do.
Yeah.
And, you just look at, I see people that have MBAs that don't know this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, they spent 80 grand to do that.
My professors were asking me questions when I was there.
Yeah.
Like, you sold a shirt in Australia? And I was like, yeah. I was like, it's actually not that hard. I can teach it. I can teach the class how to do it right now.
And I truly feel though, like this era we're in, I'm going to date myself. I always talk to you about the phone book. The phone book was our way of, advertising and getting our name out there. And now with like platforms like this and, just social media, I feel it's truly never been easier.
Yeah. Social media has made it so. We still use the phone book for like finding leads.
Yeah.
For lead generation if we're just at our desk, but for sure.
But the other aspect of it where I feel it's easier is, just like people give up so quick, and then they just don't take those steps to, to like work through it. And as soon as it gets hard, they quit.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm pretty sure that in the beginning, you probably screwed up some t-shirt orders.
Oh, I about lit that thing. Just learning how to run that print machine, I about lit that thing on fire twice. And sometimes it was about to be on purpose too. So, but yeah.
Well, but
absolutely.
But think about that as if what would have happened at that point? Because, it's new, it's frustrating. You've got these high expectations. What would have happened though if you would have just said, hey, screw it, I'm done?
Yeah, I would have felt like a failure. we're sitting at 5 figures of revenue a month. The connections I've made with this business as well, like going to the events, like nobody's really, I won't say nobody, but there's few people, not even to keep my age out of it, but doing like print, like a shirt printing business. If I tell a business owner, oh, I do apparel printing, I can put your logo on shirts, like that has opened up so many doors. So the nights I did not sleep, didn't eat, like everyone's saying bullshit. He ate, he ate for sure. He did not skip a snack, but no, like
It's cortisol.
yeah,
I mean that's the whole reason why you're at where you're at is it's just cortisol. It's not eating, folks. It's,
yeah,
stress, releases cortisol.
yeah. So, but no, I do think about that a lot. Like, what if I did quit? And we're still in the beginning stages. We have not seen like, man, I do think about it. What if we would have quit? But
my tie back is there's, you've got, entrepreneurs, and entrepreneurs,
mm-hmm,
and, the world does need good entrepreneurs.
mm-hmm.
You need
Absolutely.
good people to, manage businesses and run companies and have that ownership. And, but from the, entrepreneur ways, I'm going to talk about, salaries. You and I talked about John Saraceni. I always screw up his name.
Saraceni, yeah.
Saraceni.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got his Gen Pop and his 2000K. And, really when you look at that, a W-2 job is going to cap you.
Mm-hmm.
And, when you're in your own thing, right now you said you're at a 5-figure, next year, boom, that can be, up to a 6-figure,
Mm-hmm.
8.
That's the plan.
There's no limiting.
Yeah, right.
And, our brand here, Durham Opus that you guys do our fulfillment for, we just celebrated a milestone, where we have, 400 people in that group.
That is so huge. In a Facebook group.
Group.
Not just following. That is a group which is insanely hard to build. Like 400 is actually a huge milestone for groups.
And it's not easy to join that group, like
No. I tried the other day. I tried joining the other day because someone was asking where their order was. I just wanted to message them and make sure. But which by the way, I did get to them. So just so you know, that same day actually. But yeah. But no, yeah, like you said, I tried getting into the group the other day. You had to answer questions, be qualified.
And it's, I really look at that, that's, Emmy does that through, her coaching. And, that really, it started with friends and family.
Mm-hmm.
And, that fitness, personal development space it's tough.
It is tough.
But it just, just keeps growing and really is she does pour her heart and soul,
Mm-hmm.
into her, her clients and, and she's, really there to, help them through, any adversity, struggles they have.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you,
You give a damn about your clients.
it's, it's huge. And I mean, she'll be messaging people at midnight that call her that are struggling or, we're on vacation. And, that's the thing about entrepreneurship. I bust on you because you went golfing today, but,
which, by the way, I golfed the best I've ever golfed in my life today. But no, keep going.
But I work, and like one of us worked today, and one went and golfed. But
I'm working right now.
Right, so
I'll make it up for it.
you redeemed yourself.
Yeah.
But I look at like when you are in that entrepreneur space, there really is no days off.
Yeah.
I mean, it is 24/7.
I took 2 calls on the golf course today. Just
okay, so you worked. We're gonna say that Blake worked today.
Thank you.
But where I see that's sometimes a failure point that I see with people is, people that I know that have started businesses and they fail.
Mm-hmm.
They try to compress it into a 40-hour work week, and they're gonna have time to go do this and do that, and it's like, yeah, you can do that,
Mm-hmm.
but what are you missing out on? And there's a point that once you build that, and you get to 8 figures, 10 figures, and don't set a limit,
Yeah.
and you get to that that point, take a couple days off, celebrate, and
Yeah.
then it's right back to it.
Got to be right back to it. Yeah.
And I think the kind of back to Emma, where that's been successful, is just really delivering that value.
Which is huge, especially in your space, because everybody and their mom and everybody and their grandma wants to be a health coach or fitness coach or some sort of life coach. Like, to actually bring value to people instead of like getting in front of the camera being like, you got to believe. We always joke about that all the time. Like, dude, anybody can do that, but how are you bringing value to your clients? Like, making videos.
And I think it's it's truly leading by example and living that life.
Yeah.
So just a little about about us is we both of us have been through the Live Hard program. That's where you do 75 hard.
75 hard, yeah.
And real quick about that is you for 75 days, you follow an exercise regimen. One of them's 45 minutes. You pick the workout. One of them's 45 minutes outside. Outside's outside. It's not under a carport or in your garage. You follow a diet, whatever you plan, you stick with it. You got to drink a gallon of water, no alcohol or cheat meals, and then you got to read 10 pages of a self-help book.
Yeah.
And, you do that for 75 days, and it truly builds that mental toughness.
For sure.
And what you find is you actually feel your life full of a bunch of bullshit. But, when you're traveling like I did, you got to go walk a hotel parking lot at midnight, but it just builds that toughness.
Yeah.
And then there's different phases through it, but we can get more into the 75 hard at some other point. But where I think Emmy is you've seen pictures of Emmy, like she's ripped. And, between both of us, we've lost about 130 pounds.
Wow.
In the last 2 years, and to be able to keep it off. And I'll say that mental toughness aspect, as we talked earlier, I went through corporate, kind of lost my dream job, starting new things. The summer I was in a side-by-side accident, actually busted 7 ribs. Hell, even got a letter from another 3-letter agency, the IRS, because I owed them some money. And, but it was kind of like, setback after setback after setback. And, I just looked at like, hey, look, I'll get over this. I'll figure it out.
Oh, yeah.
I'll work through it.
This too shall pass.
It really does. And, I think you either can, play victim of your circumstances or you can overcome it.
Yeah.
Look at that guy up there.
Yeah.
Truly. And the, what your family is, goes through. And I think you told me he wasn't supposed to last past 11 months.
He wasn't supposed to live past the age of 2.
Yeah.
And he just turned 21, and nothing's holding him back.
No.
There's not a damn thing that can hold him back.
No, and
But yeah.
we can all do hard shit.
And I was also very lucky because I had him as an example do that. Like, I got yelled at by a crazy client today. Well, boo-hoo. You know what I mean? I've seen people go through worse, believe it or not. But my buddy's a teacher. Just a short story. My buddy's a teacher, and he was having he was complaining about something so minimal, and I was like sitting there laughing. He goes, "I don't even know why I tell you this stuff anymore." I'm like, this guy's not that big of a deal, man.
It really isn't, And there's 2 things I look at. Like anytime you have a problem. The only 2 things you can control are your attitude and your effort.
Yeah.
And, how's your attitude going to be the problem? And then what's the effort you're going to put forth to fix it? And, you can have a bad day and, go sit at a bar stool and slam $500 in a slot machine, but that problem's not going to go away.
Yeah.
And, you got to take action and work through it. And if you need help, you ask people.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the things we see, so much is because, Emmy and I do this journey together. And, I really, started because of her. It's actually, this time 3 years ago or so, um, we're at my son's wedding,
Mhm.
and that's the moment you live for as a parent. It's one of those monumental things, and
Yeah.
Emmy saw a picture of herself, uh, the next day, and she's like, "Whoa, I don't like what I see,"
Yeah. Do it every day.
and she's like, I need to change,"
Yeah.
and she, started first, and in that time, my dad was dying, and it was my dad was like my best
Mhm.
friend. I mean, we did like everything together. I mean, shit, we can have 20 episodes on the adventures of
Yeah.
him and I. And he'd always love he'd go up to the Red Apple
Yeah.
with his buddies on Wednesday, and he'd like
That's so
tell these
funny.
stories. So like I'd run to his buddies somewhere, and they're like, "Oh my God, your dad told me you guys went and did this." And I had him one time
Yeah.
in a mud boat down in Kennett, Missouri, and we were on the Mississippi River in a flood, and it was
Mhm.
like 38-foot flood stage. I mean, this shit was like the roaring rapids, and I don't know where the hell I'm going. And
Yeah.
he was just always there for the ride. So, uh, but he went through that and passed away, and I was just a wreck.
Mhm.
And then I realized I had to change.
Mhm.
So we've really been doing this, journey together, and supporting each other. But the number one thing we see is with couples, they're like, "Hey, man, I wish my husband would do this, or I
Mhm.
wish my girlfriend or wife or whoever would just do this with me."
Mhm.
No,
Yeah.
it's about you.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell people. I'm like, look, you can't worry about other people. You have to worry about you,
Mhm.
because if you create the best version of yourself, and we're not perfect. Our brand stands for really work in progress,
Yeah.
but we're not perfect. And if folks realize like, hey, I'm gonna be the best version of myself, and if my partner doesn't want to come along with me, maybe I need a new partner.
Yeah.
And I think that's really the best advice. Either from
I think I needed that. I think you just said that for me right there.
yeah,
In relationships right now, but yeah.
it truly is, and this, but the same thing goes for like business.
Yeah,
If
absolutely.
someone has a dream and they're going to work towards it every day, whether it be a t-shirt company or an ice cream shop or whatever that is, you don't want that voice in your ear all the time, like holding you back, like, well, this is stupid, why are you doing it?
Yeah.
Because what I tell you, a few weeks ago, you only get about 4,700 weeks.
Mhm.
How are you going to use them?
Yeah.
And if you're always worried about what that other person's going to think or say, find another person. I mean,
Yeah.
there's freaking 6 billion people on the planet. But once you get all those things dialed in, your fitness, your finance, your mental state, you'll attract those people.
Yeah. I was just gonna say that. Yeah. If you start like fixing yourself and start putting the effort in, the people around you will either see that and be like, oh, like I need to hop on board, or you just they fade out.
Yep.
They fade out just naturally. But
It, isn't that weird though? You're a lot younger than I am, but like how your friend base has already changed.
oh yeah.
I,
Yep.
I mean it's you hear about
Yeah.
it in the entrepreneur space, and I always like to use the analogy: if you hang around five people that smoke, you're going to be the sixth.
Yeah. Yep.
Or if you hang around
100%. Yeah.
five broke asses, you're going to be
Mhm.
the sixth.
No, for sure.
And really though, that's what that group is it's just people that want to get better.
Mhm.
And
You start hanging around that group, things are gonna start to change for you.
it
Same way with the events. Same way with the
yep.
event. When you put a room, and it was only 60 people, but when you put that room together, relationships are made, businesses are started, and so on and so forth. I love that.
Well, you have the right people in the audience.
Yeah.
Like for your event, what's the cost to go to one of your events?
It depends. It could because we let some at-risk youth in for free, or you could spend 1,000 to be like front row, meet the speakers, all that stuff. And also pricing is going to change at the next one. So, and also, we also found out that people that bought tickets show up more. You know, they're they're dedicated to it if
Yeah.
they paid to go. So that's probably going to be pricing is probably going to be more strict on this next one because when you pay, you actually want to get something out of it.
Yes.
You have to show up. If you don't pay and I invite you to an event and you got a birthday party to go to, you'll probably just go to the birthday party. You won't show up to the event. So,
Well, it's like an RSVP.
yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
You know, and you want the people in there that are serious.
Same with coaching. If you're not charging for coaching, you think they're going to show up. You know what I mean? Like nobody will ever show up. Also, they won't take it as seriously.
Right.
I have a old friend. It's funny. They weed out naturally, but they're like, hey, I need all this advice. And I was like, come over. We come over. We talk through. I'd literally build out a business plan for him. And I'm like, if this is what you want to do, this is what you got to do step by step. Wouldn't hear from him again. And I'm like,
oh,
this is why people charge. This is why people charge.
I get daily, people that, they reach out to me and be like, man, I need a change because they've had a health scare. They're in, now they got to get on diabetes medicine or they had high blood pressure, whatever that is. And I'm like, look, I'm nothing special.
Yeah.
You're nothing special.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that separates us is we were willing to take risk.
Yeah.
And then we were willing to do the work. But I'll give them, they're like, man, what diet did you use? When I first lost my all that weight, I lost 70 pounds, the first time, and I gradually each time I lose more, and I'm really kind of where I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
And my diet was crazy. In the morning, I would eat 2 El Monterey burritos.
The way you describe your dad is just like my grandpa. He was like my everything, and we'd go to FS, kill 2 Danishes, a Kit Kat, a Dr. Pepper, all that shit. Yeah.
So we're blaming your grandpa now for this.
Well, I was volunteering to go. Yeah.
But I would eat like 2 El Monterey burritos. I would eat a healthy choice meal, and then I would eat just like a regular dinner, like chicken, broccoli, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
And I lost that weight, and they're like, dude, you're eating burritos and you lost weight? I was like, yeah, but I'm not eating 10.
Yeah.
Like I'm actually tracking and measuring my food because I'm accountable.
Right.
And that's a big point too, is just tracking. And it kind of even ties back to like your events. Like you pay for it, you're accountable.
Yeah.
You track your food, you're accountable.
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to lose that. And it's like, but I'll tell these people, just kind of what I did.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, and I'll send them the 75 Hard podcast. It's episode 203 from Andy Frisella, and on the Relay F. And, I'll send it to him and be like, hey, man, reach out if you need anything. I'll help them.
Yeah.
Never, ever hear anything again.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had people call me when I was on the road, they call me or they text like, hey, I need help. I'm like, well, call me. I'm in a hotel room. I'm not doing it. And, kind of walk through it. Nothing.
Yeah.
And
somebody will tell you, if you really love doing it, you do it for free. You don't know how much sacrifice I had to do to be able to give this to you. That's another reason why you should charge. Quit giving stuff away for free unless you're bringing value to somebody.
And that's a big thing is because, like I tell people, like buying a t-shirt, off the website.
Yeah.
Because we do sell some supplements, and not, supplements aren't for everybody, and it's not just, hey, take this and you're going to lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
But I tell people, I'm like, look, if you want to support the brand and the mission, go buy a shirt.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I said, because what that does is that enables us to help more people. Because we'll do, we do a lot of like monthly challenges and quarterly challenges, but it costs to do that.
Yeah, yes, it does.
We just had finished up an 8-week summer challenge, and had two people in it that had just phenomenal results. And I think the prize package that each of them got was probably around $400 to $500 a piece. You know, I mean, Emmy got them custom rucking backpacks with
Yeah.
their names on them, and you know, order merchandise through here to get, you know, to send to them. And you know, but you know, the big benefit is you know, I think each of them lost around 30 pounds.
Amazing.
You know, and you look at that, you know, you're still young, but you know, you get into my age, you know, diabetes is no joke. You know, and like me, I was pre-diabetic. I was on, you know, metformin. I had high blood pressure. Like everything was like through the roof, and now I'm on nothing.
Yeah.
You know, like I mean, everything has like dropped to levels that, you know, that are good. And I'm not perfect, but I just stay with it.
Yeah.
You know, day after day. And yeah, do I want to eat the?
Hell
Sure.
yeah.
You know, like who?
Shout out.
Yeah. Well, no free
You don't
ads.
have to pay. No, we'll cut that out.
Yeah, that'll be gone. But you
Quit giving away your stuff for free. Hey,
Yeah.
shout out.
nobody's perfect in it. Nobody, you know, nobody expects it. But you know, if people fall off, get back on the same day. And really, the same thing goes in business. Like, you know, you have that bad day. The printer messes up or an order got lost. I mean, you just don't like quit and shut the business down. You know, you're like, all right, you got to reach out to the customer, say, hey man, this is what happened. I'm sorry. I'll make it right with you, and then we move on.
Yeah.
I just had that with the bin business. So
Did you already?
well, not on my end from a customer, but
Yeah.
you know, I was telling you about the marketing and
Yeah. Oh yes. Yeah.
and all that, and you know, there was supposed to be.
Is it weird? I just got excited about the failure because you've already passed it.
Yeah.
But I get so now I am excited about the next thing we'll run into just because I got multiple examples. But no, if you want to elaborate on that, go.
Well, like I guess my advice too for people in business is you always want to over deliver.
Yeah.
You know, and when you over deliver and you follow through, that's when you can charge that premium price. And you know, I bought this marketing package with the business because I've done it before, and like I told you, it is a pain in the ass. You know, to try to like sync and merge everything up. Well, you know, we kind of had setback after setback after setback. We had our last one. We were supposed to get some door slicks and hangers and stuff with this package, and they're like, "Well, you don't get them." So what do you mean I don't get them? They're like, "Well, it's just we're designing them." I'd called the owner, and you know, he didn't answer the phone. Well, then I texted him, and basically I said, "Hey, I'm not paying you for this. Like, this didn't meet the expectations that you set forth, and what do you think happened?"
What I hope happened is he covered it and
well, the owner, as soon as I sent that text,
yeah.
boom, my phone rings, and I was like, "Oh, you know, now you're answering the phone because now I'm, you know, threatening to withhold payment." And I don't like to ever be that guy.
Yeah, no, I hate being that guy.
And he's like, "Hey, you know, what can we do to make it right?" I said, "Well, first," I said, "we're not talking about making it right now." I said, "First, we're going to talk about everything that went wrong."
Yeah.
And I said, "I think you need this feedback as a business owner that's trying to grow." I said, "This might work on somebody that's new coming in this,
Yeah.
but it's not working on me."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, you know," especially the pamphlets. He's like, "Well, it says design." And I said, "Yeah, but you need to put a disclaimer in there then if that's not included. Because why was I under the impression that I'm going to get 100 sales slicks and 100 door hangers? You think I just made up the number 100?
Yeah.
Like,
right.
You told me this."
Yeah.
And I hate doing this on the, you know, I hate cancel culture.
Yeah.
And all those things. But I told him, I said, "Dude, I will just troll you on all these sites going forward." And I said, "How do you think that's going to do for your business?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, you know, I apologize." I'm like, "Look, I even reached out previously on this. You know, I'm leaving a little bit out, but you know that I had some concerns, and then you just walked over them." So I guess that's just my advice. Like, you know, to run a successful business, do what you say you're going to do.
Yeah.
And if you can't do it, tell them
Yeah.
in the beginning you can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, this
That's
is
good.
impossible. Like, I can't do it for this price.
Yeah.
And I mean, you showed me that the other day when you had that little baby shirt in here that looked like ass for the
What's
company.
that? Oh yes, yeah, yeah. If you, yeah, I don't even know if I can produce this shit, but if you want this, I can try shipping some stuff in from China. And I was like, I do not want my name associated with this product at all. It's like, we'll do it for you if that's what you really want. 'Cause, yeah,
When Cody showed me that shirt, I didn't know. Like I told you, I didn't know somebody else made it. Like I thought you made it.
you were about to run out the door.
Yeah, and I was just like, really? Like, I mean, it was seriously. I mean,
It
you need to
hurts.
almost put a thumbnail
Yeah.
of that shirt.
Yeah, yeah, I got offended. And I told them, I go, honestly, I don't say what but they're very high. They sell very high priced items. And I was like, honestly, if I bought one of these high priced items and I got this free shirt, I would be a little offended because it was a 3X in the size of my thigh. Like,
Oh yeah,
but
yeah.
the crooked design, not even right place. But yeah.
And it's like, where's the quality control in that? At some,
Yeah.
at some point, and
Probably China, kids in a sweatshop. Probably like, man,
yeah, and
the
then
delegation is key over there.
yeah, I mean, and they have a sign on the wall that says only 6 people jumped off the roof this week because of of what they're doing, and
There's a, they're a 40% safety rate or
yeah,
whatever.
and that's I know we hit a lot of topics, but I think like with what you're doing in business, and the biggest thing I've seen kind of my career is we've sacrificed our liberty for convenience.
Yeah,
And as these items come into the marketplace, and sure they're cheap goods, and some of them do serve a purpose, but what happens is it limits your selection.
yeah,
And like with what you do, I can just pick up the phone and call you, or drive down here, or whatever that is, and yeah, cool, I got it. Boom, boom. I mean, like for Homestead, you guys did a phenomenal job. Like, I put a lot of pressure on you. I'm like, hey, I need 250 can koozies, double-sided print with a QR code. Glad you didn't put a porn site on there. So
it was tempting, but thank you. I appreciate that.
So
Yeah.
and and the shirts, and I mean, great quality, great color, and it was such a a quick turnaround.
Thank you.
And in the meantime, you had an event.
Yeah, yeah. We actually stopped selling that week because we had to prepare for the event coming up, and we still had last minute orders like Downtown Pub and Second Story, and they were like Second Story was like, hey, we got 3 days and we forgot to order shirts. I'm like, what do you need? We got it done in 2.
Yeah.
and that was I was so proud of everybody, so proud of Jarrett and Cody and helping me get everything ready to go. And
But you're not going to get that from, a Chinese company or
yeah, right.
or those things. So when they say shop local, I mean it does mean something.
Yeah,
Again, as a business owner, I mean it's 24/7. I mean, I've got a lot of stuff going. I manage properties, sell real estate, also have my own real estate. I mean, if my phone rings now and somebody's toilet's jacked up and it's Saturday night, I'm going to go fix it.
yeah, right.
Because that's what
If
the
I'm
service
golfing
is.
on a Saturday, I'm gonna.
Well, he did answer 2 phone calls. One of might have been mine. I did try to.
Well, no, I didn't answer yours.
Yeah,
I think I called you back. I did call you back. So three calls I made today on the golf.
three calls today on a Saturday afternoon. But it's. I think that's an important piece of when people are starting, just like realize that you're gonna miss the cookouts and the birthday parties and and all those things, but once you get and hit your goals, you're gonna be able to go do those things.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we touched on earlier, like with your friend base. We both went to the same high school, and I think there was 165 kids in my class.
Yeah.
I talked to like 2 of them now.
Yeah, I could agree. I think, yeah, Yeah, how often do you like hang out with them, like see them?
I mean, the big reason I hang out was that we hunt together,
Yeah, right.
and they're great dudes. Um, but I don't have a best
Yeah.
friend from high school.
No. Yeah, I have one. Yeah, one, two I talked to from high school. I'll talk to them all. Like if any of them called, I'd obviously be like, "Hey, what's up?" and like catch up with them. But like as far as hanging out, maybe two,
Yeah,
maybe two.
and isn't it weird in your life because when you're in that stage? I mean, how many years have you been out now?
6.
6 years.
Yeah,
And look, that little short window,
yeah,
that those relationships have all changed. But when you're in that moment, you think like, oh, we're gonna be bros forever, and
yeah, yeah. I remember being like, "Man, we're not gonna be like everybody else. We're
yeah,
we're gonna be best friends forever." And it's like I haven't talked to them, and I don't even know how long. But we all just had like different goals, and
your goals are for you,
mhm.
and not for them. And people, I think that's probably been the one of the hardest lessons I've learned in business is you have, even family.
Yeah.
I mean, family's always still family. I remember, everybody's got that crazy uncle,
Oh yeah.
and I'm probably that crazy uncle in the family.
I will be one day. That's my goal.
Yes, and I remember, when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life in high school. My uncle's like, you just need to go be a plumber, and I actually wanted to be a school teacher, and like an industrial arts teacher was
That's
my.
funny. I want to be a teacher too.
Did you ever take a philosophy class when you're in college?
I did. I didn't show up.
It was the dumbest shit
Yes, it
ever.
was. Yeah, I didn't show up a whole lot, but
And I thought my instructor at the time, I thought he was like a sadist.
I
mean,
did too, and I was at a Christian college.
yeah. I mean, but this guy would, like the reading assignment for the weekend would be like 175 pages.
Yeah.
And it's like, look, you read like 2 paragraphs of like Socrates or Plato. It's
Yeah.
like, what in the hell is he talking about?
Oh,
Like,
I'm falling asleep.
yeah,
Yes. I don't need. I'm not reading that stuff.
right. No free ads.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I'll bleep it out. Sleeping pill.
yeah.
I don't need sleeping pill. Dang.
But they, you would go through there and I'd be like, look, I'm in college. All I want to do is, chase girls and drink beer.
Yeah.
I don't really want to read this.
Yeah.
And my college experience is I actually had a teacher come to me and they're like, hey, I think we need to test you for dyslexia. And I said, no. I said, I don't think that I'm dyslexic. I said, what's going on is I said, unlike everybody else, like I'm working a full-time job plus going to college.
Yeah.
And then I drink beer till 2:00 in the morning
Yeah.
with my buddies. And then like I'm doing my homework on the way here
Yeah.
and I'm probably hungover.
Yeah. Yeah. I did that as well. Yeah.
And just such a, like we talked earlier, it was a great experience, but I mean, really at the cost, no way.
Yeah. Yeah. I also, I mean, even that on top of that, I was told like I wasn't a good reader. Like I was like, and I believed that. I was like, oh, I don't know how to read. That sucks. And then I realized I was like, oh no, I actually love to read, but they weren't giving me anything valuable to read that I actually enjoyed reading. And I was like, I can read. Now I love reading. I thought I hated reading. I thought I was an idiot. And then I picked up like a sports book or a business book, and I was like, this is awesome. I just didn't want to read about whatever they're
It's just some woke
about.
shit that they're trying to push down you.
Yeah,
Well,
for a long time.
You bring up a good point there. Is it, the thing is it, someone planted a seed in your head.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to be a teacher, because someone planted a seed in my head that wasn't true. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, yeah,
And that happens, so many times from, I mean, our friends, our family, influential people. One of my favorite people to, follow is David Goggins.
yeah.
And
He's gonna be in Schaumburg. Did you know that?
is he really?
We can go. I know a ton. That would actually be a really good event. Well, we'll
Yeah.
talk about that later. But yeah,
But when I read, read his book, You Can't Hurt Me. I mean, phenomenal story. But he talked about when he was going through SEAL training, and the night before they started BUDS, it was like a Sunday night, and they take them all out to the beach, and they have them watch the sunset as the sunset goes down. And the instructors are like, by Wednesday, 3/4 of you will quit, and that'll be your hardest day.
Mm.
Wednesday was their hardest day.
Yeah.
Because they had planted that seed intentionally.
Yeah.
To break them. And we see that so many times in our society. I think it even leads to really this big divide that we have between people, where it's like, well, you're a person of color and you're disenfranchised. Well, you tell a person that enough in their life, they're going to believe it.
And guess what they're saying in schools?
Yep. And it's, and really, I always want this to be about, I don't care who you are. We all have the same potential.
Yeah.
Regardless of where we were born, what our skin color is, what our income is. I mean, it's America.
Yeah.
I mean, you're creating a business and a brand, and you quit college.
Yeah.
And you just had an event. I mean, would you have thought that 6 years ago?
Hell no. Absolutely not. 6 years ago, I was like, one, I got to figure out how I can get into college. And if I'm struggling on getting into college, which is so important for everybody to go do, how am I going to be successful in anything?
Yep.
And then I get to college and I'm like, this guy's teaching me something about business, which is what I want to go do, but he's never ran a business. Mm-hmm. I was like, you start to question those things a little bit. And then I'm like, hey, can you help me with this, economics thing? And the professor tells me, there's probably a student in the class that understands this. You should go ask them. And I'm like, what am I paying?
Yes.
Like, what am I paying for? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it'd be, like me coming and be like, hey, can you, put this design on this sweatshirt? And you're like, no, why don't you go ahead and go to or whatever. No free ads.
Yeah.
And it's just,
but that's where I was 6 years ago. I was like, I don't know what the heck I'm going to go do. I was like, I can't even get into college, which is what everybody's telling me I got to go do,
What got you, when you had the, the ice cream truck, what like spurred your entrepreneurial spirit?
I just always loved doing it. And I noticed that I could make a difference through it. Because even as something as small as the lemonade stands growing up, we'd be raising money for Nolan's disease, spinal muscular atrophy. So I was like, man, and then I found it through the ice cream truck again. Then when we started the ice cream truck, I was like, I'm gonna go try to make some money with this thing, and set up an event at LCN, and I made $800 in 2 hours, and I was like, this is what I'm gonna do. I was like, it just clicked with me. I was like, I've worked in the cornfields, I've worked in multiple restaurants, farms, and I'm like, man, this is amazing. And I'm like, people are excited to see me. I'm the ice cream truck coming up, or I'm the guy walking in saying I can put a logo on your shirt. People get excited about that. And for example, speaking about people getting excited, we were just at the Demolition Derby, which Koji does. And we were seeing all of our shirts in the crowd, and 1,000 people probably show up to that. Would you say? But yeah, that's really what sparked it. That's kind of how entrepreneurship sparked that. As something as small as lemonade stands, I guess, is where it started.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, when you really know that you've made it is when someone gets a Mullet Bros tattoo on them.
Yeah. Man, I wonder if someone has. I feel like they would have sent that to us if they did.
I mean, if someone does, I mean, you'll give them a couple free hats and a shirt.
So we don't give anything away for free.
No
it's
free.
much too valuable. No, I'm joking. But yes, absolutely, we would be giving away merch. Yeah, someone go get a Mullet Bros tattoo.
I was telling you, about that First Form event, and that we're affiliated with First Form, and
yeah.
They actually had a tattoo artist at their event.
Oh.
And that was the tattoo you got, was a 1P logo on them.
No way.
And the entire
Where's
time.
yours?
I have one tattoo, And it was one of those dumb things that I did in my life, and it was to impress a girl.
I got a couple of them.
A couple girls or a couple
A
tattoos?
couple tattoos that are dumb, but I'll never regret them because it reminds me of memories.
Yeah,
Good old
well,
days.
I just thought it hurt like hell.
Yeah.
You know, but like down there, I was like, I'm not gonna get you know, a tattoo. But that line, it was crazy.
Mhm.
I mean, it was. I think the event was probably 7 hours or so, and the entire time that was long. You know, it was longer than the beer tent or I mean anything else to get a tattoo.
Brantley Gilbert, you know Brantley Gilbert?
Yeah.
His brother does tattoos, and he's going to give us a tattoo. But it would be amazing if we had like we just hit, I think we're around like 370K now followers just on Instagram and TikTok. So we want to do kind of like a move-in party / like hitting a follower goal party or something like that. But that would be awesome to have Colby, like fly Colby up and just have him tattooing like Mole Bros logos on people. That would be insane.
That would be. Then you know you kind of made it. If somebody's gonna get your logo on them, I mean,
I got to be the first, right? I can't have anybody else be first. You know.
Yeah, then you just hope he's not like hungover that day, or you know, puts rainbow colors on or something.
Right.
You're just like, oh my god, now I got to get this thing lasered off.
Yeah, which is his birthday. Happy birthday, Colby! Shout out, Colby.
Happy birthday.
I'll send that to him.
Yeah, and free tattoos.
Free tattoo.
If you get the Mullet Bros logo on you.
Yeah.
If not, it's like $1,000 a second.
Yeah. Yeah, a second. Yeah.
Because it does well. So you're talking about earlier, you know, like moving the building and you know getting in there. Have you been down there recently?
At the building?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're cleaning the floor. Once we clean the floor, water's getting like lines are getting ran, and then we're ready to move in.
You didn't see the homeless encampment that?
No, I thought you were gonna stick a sign in my yard. It was either gonna be the homeless encampment or the sign. I saw you put an interesting sign in your yard.
So
it's political season.
Yes, it is. It is. So in our little town, you know, we've got 30 homeless or something that live in tents.
Just being boogans around town, just hanging, just messing around.
Yeah, just messing around on bikes. And
Cody always said.
These guys were going to their event, and I told them I was going to get a banner made and put on their building, future home of the new homeless shelter, and then go tell these guys, and then when they come back, it'd just be lined with all these tents.
Just a tent encampment. That would totally be my luck too. That would totally be my
oh my god, what do you
Here
do now?
we go. Start saying, Jocko, good. Now we can move past it. Yeah.
Well, that and I mean, it'd be one of those things. I mean, you can overcome adversity.
Yes, exactly.
Like,
yep.
oh my god, how do I get rid of these people?
At the age of 23, I got rid of 50 homeless in my yard, in my place of business.
One of the things in my property management space that we have is I do offer for people, that go away for the winter, like, hey, we'll like look after your property and whatever schedule you want. And I was talking to a guy today about it, and he's like, "Oh, I'm calling you. I mean, I don't want these squatters in my house. I don't want them there." And because I mean, back in the day, your neighbors used to look over your property and take care of stuff, and now most neighbors don't even know who the hell lives next to them.
Yeah, it is so sad because I remember that has changed even since I was a kid. Like when I was a kid, I was running over in my diaper, literally, they still joke about it, knocking on the neighbor's door, seeing what's going on, and yeah, it's sad to see that go. We just lost our other neighbor. That's the house we're remodeling. So yeah, about the squatters, worried about them getting in there too. But that is really weird. Like I don't know why people are so afraid to just like hang out with each other. And I think it's in the way like the government, my conspiracy brain going of they just want to keep us divided and keep us separated so they can get away with whatever they're doing.
Well, my last corporate role, I traveled, all over the U.S. and like I said, it was a great time and mostly to a lot of urban areas. Mm-hmm. I've been out in California to the East Coast, all over. And what I found is everybody's the same.
Yeah.
I'd get checked in when I'd walked in the facility and, and have the biggest dude there with, dreadlocks. And I mean, he, looks like he just rolled out of Compton, and we're sharing stories on, preparedness or, just like what's going on current state. And the one place that actually threw me for a loop was honestly California.
I was just gonna say, I would have guessed California.
Our perception is because
Yeah.
we're in the Midwest that
Also because of the news.
yes, like you think everybody's just like this, crazy progressive, liberal.
Yeah.
And when I was out there and I'd make visits, they hated their government.
Yeah. Yes, they did.
And they would, and it took me back. And I actually told them this. I said, "Look, I thought all you guys like want to drive Teslas and and
yeah." I go bad joke, but I met a girl in college. She goes, "Oh, I'm from California." I was like, "Oh, him." And I'm like,
yeah.
She goes, "Not everybody's like that." I go, "Yeah, right." Like,
Right.
She goes, "No, it's because of the news." And then I had that same thing happen to me when I went to Ireland. I went to Ireland, and these guys are like, "Oh yeah, you Americans, you don't know what gender you are," and saying all the stuff that the news is saying. And I go, "Oh, that's what I did to California."
Yes.
And I'm like, yeah.
So they call that unconscious bias if
Yeah.
you're in the DEI space, and they'll train you on that.
Yeah.
Well, like we both said in our companies, no matter how big they get, we won't have HR departments.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's impossible.
No.
Impossible. We're all gonna have jokes so good that HR is gonna want to
Oh,
hear
my God.
them if we do.
My partner in the real estate and side of things, though, he always says that we need to have just counsel for me, though. Like when I go up and speak, like, hey, here's kind of like your prearranged notes, and
Yeah.
to make sure you don't get
Prearranged notes, yeah,
make
yeah.
sure you don't get in trouble.
There's kids in the crowd.
Yes. Funny quick story. So on the way over here, I drove my old wagon. I don't know if you saw when I pulled up.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I got a 73 Pontiac Grand Safari wagon, and it's pea green, it's rusty, like I don't even wash it. And it's crazy how many compliments I get about that car.
Yeah.
And I also have a 68 Pontiac Firebird convertible that's like pristine. I mean, it's like it's a show car. And I get more compliments on that Coupe wagon than I do that car.
Yeah.
But I had to stop and get gas on the way over. And there was a damn Tesla blocking the gas pump.
Oh, hell yeah.
And this is in Sheffield.
Yeah.
And like I have to like almost like push his car out of the way so I can get gas.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, why in the hell would you park at a gas pump with a Tesla?
Yeah.
And this guy comes out.
And in case you're wondering, there are parking spots at that gas
Yes,
station.
you can park.
Yeah.
But this dude comes walking out with like 2 Frappuccino mochas or whatever. I'm like, man,
Here we go.
stereotyping. And he kind of looked at me and scurried to his car, and I was like, dude, what are you doing? It kind of reminds me of the memes where you see people that block the diesel pump and and they blow black smoke on them, and
Yeah.
I'm like, man, in all places in Sheffield, they have
Illinois.
I mean, there's probably not a electric car charger within 30 miles of us.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know of one here.
I don't know either. Yeah, I can't think of one. Have you been to that coffee shop in Sheffield?
Yeah,
So good.
it is.
It is unbelievably good.
And
I wish it was in Princeton. Princeton needs a coffee shop like that. And I love the coffee shops in town, but my complaint is there's nowhere to work in them. Like I would kill for a coffee shop in town that you can go like set up shop at. You know what I mean?
well, you're gonna have your favorite brand coming to town here.
I heard. Yeah.
No
Big
free ads.
supporters. Big supporters. Corporate. Corporate
I actually
coffee.
would like to, my brain always, is churning of different, ideas and concepts. And, I was always afraid if you bought one of those big franchises to move it here just because you don't really have the population density.
Yeah.
And I don't know, have you ever looked into buying a franchise?
Not really like deeply, but I've been looking at like the place that's I don't want to interrupt your story, but the place that's like right across the interstate to the left when you're getting off 80,
Yeah.
it's just a vacant lot that would kill for any. But my buddy's owns a Culver's by Springfield, Missouri, so he tells me a lot about that. I learned a little bit from that, but
Well, it's huge fees usually,
yeah,
and a lot of them, you're supposed to have $1 million in like liquid cash and
yeah,
all this just to buy in. So, I mean, you you got to sell a lot of cups of coffee to pay for that.
yeah,
And but I always thought like a or something,
yeah.
would go, but more probably towards like the the Quad City area.
It's hard to get into too. He was wanting to get into Black Rifle, but I'll cut that out. I'll cut that out.
Cut.
I gotta remember. Hey, Blake, cut. If you're, I gotta cut that out.
The franchise mindset, yeah, it's great because you're buying a business system, instead of creating your own. But as we talked before, like with like the McDonald's and Subway, whether they're struggling, I don't know that business model really works anymore.
Yeah.
But where you have like the I think it's called the Parlor is what
Yes.
is in Sheffield, and more of them agents, man.
It's crazy. I don't know what's going on right now.
But they like why I really admire her and her business.
Yeah.
She's there every day.
Yes. Yes. I have noticed that. Yeah.
She is there every day. Her kids are there.
You show up.
But you just rearrange your life to it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you're not going to be able to get home and watch Jeopardy at 5:30.
Yeah. Record the damn thing. Watch it. You know what I mean? Like,
but you're there, and but what I also see too with a lot of people in that business space, like they hit a certain number, and then they quit. Like, oh, I'm going to go to the lake every weekend, and all of a sudden, instead of going to the lake on Saturday and Sunday, they're going to the lake on Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
And then it moves back to Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then their business goes to hell.
Yeah.
Because, you can run a business with other people, but, you've got to really create that atmosphere in that system.
Yeah. Delegate
it. And getting them, their buy-in. And, what's always tough, and you haven't run in this yet, and you've got a really good crew, but the worst thing to happen would be, one of these guys would be like, well, why is Blake making all that money? I'm just going to go start my own thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, I'll go ahead and do it. Concrete guys, this happens to them all the time.
Yeah.
They got somebody on the crew and they're like, the boss just made 10 grand off that job. Well, what you don't know is that boss works 70 hours.
Yeah.
He
also bought every truck, yeah.
He's got that whole laundry list of debt.
Yeah.
And he's not making that at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Because, you do.
Also, he's got to throw events to keep everybody happy, and that costs money.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
there's so much hidden cost. It's unbelievable.
And then you have, one. You always have a silent partner in business, and it's called the IRS.
Yeah, they come a knocking quite often.
Yes, because they want their fees. It's
because they work so hard for it.
Oh, well, what's your take on this? And I know we really haven't gotten in a lot of political stuff here, but the debate was the other night.
Yeah,
and Kamala's
50 grand,
the $50K in tax incentives, and I saw that and I thought, uneducated people are gonna be like, yeah, that's great.
Someone's got to know where that money comes from, though.
Exactly, you got to make a lot of money to write $50K off.
Yeah,
and when you look at starting a business, just like here, it takes capital.
Yeah,
it takes an investment, a lot of money just to start up. I did a video the other day just on TikTok. The bin business, I filed for an LLC a month and a half ago, whatever. So now I get all these letters in the mail of, hey, send me $97 and I'll get your EIN number. Or
I got a lot of those. Yeah.
And if you don't know,
You,
You're like, all right, I write a check and I send it to you.
yeah,
Well, shit, all you got to do is go to the IRS website and key your number in, and you get it within basically seconds.
yeah,
And, I just look at that. That's like, I hate those people,
yeah.
because it's predatory.
Mm.
Because you got somebody that's, they could be putting their life savings into, a business and putting everything that they have, that $80, $90, it's a big deal.
You're talking about the scammers, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So when you sign up for like an LLC or like anything, all that information is public. So what the scammers do is they send a letter saying you owe this to get like the only thing that's holding your LLC back is, or fill in the blank. The only thing that's holding your your thing back is $50, and you're like, well, shit, And a lot of times, like when they file it, they don't like. A lot of people don't know that's like actually public information. At least I didn't know. I didn't know you could just find it on there. And so I was like, man, this doesn't sound right. So I called somebody and I was like, hey, I'm about to send this check. I was like, but this just doesn't seem right because nobody told me about this. And they're like, do not send that check. That is fraud. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Well, what's the other fraud thing? And I see it a lot on, TikTok and, Instagram because, the algorithm, feeds you that stuff, especially if you're in that market is, well, send us $299 and we'll file your LLC for you. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you just go to the Secretary of State, like in Illinois, and you can file it yourself. And I mean, it's always good to, consult a tax accountant of like how you want to structure your company. If you want to be an LLC or a limited partnership or, a Schedule S Corp or whatever that might be. But, I mean, that costs you like $50 to call your accountant and then they, do this.
Also, just side note, anybody that will pay somebody like that's going to pay somebody to set up their LLC, like actually be able to sit down with them and walk them through, watch every account they're setting up, how to do it. Because for one of them, I paid somebody to set it up. Well, when I was getting letters saying that stuff needed fixed, I was like, I don't even know where this was set up at. I had to like go back to them and like, I was like, how did you set up this account and what information did you put into this account? And like, we had to go through like a couple different softwares. And I was like, I need the password to every software that you set this up on, and had to get all my stuff back. But, so yeah, if you're going to get an LLC, sit down with them and actually you set up the account. You can pay them to help you because that's what they do, but have control over that stuff.
And that brings up a big point too, is just own your own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're getting a website domain, own that yourself.
Yep.
Trademarks, whatever that might be, phone numbers.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to find in business that not everybody has your best interests.
Yeah. And fairly quickly.
Very quickly. So you want to own everything that you have, and like Blake said, is make sure that you write down those passwords, what emails you're using, because you're gonna have to reference that at some point. And it's just
when renewal comes, that person that you paid to sign up is not gonna know or care where it went.
And then don't pay for free QR codes. Because they are complete bullshit.
Yeah. We'll refund you. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Sorry for ripping you off.
Yeah.
What's funny is that QR code still works.
Yeah.
Even after I canceled that, like it still works.
Yep. Oh, they're not going back to.
Yeah. I mean, it works
with domains, like you said. Like the domain is a www.com.org, whatever. I lost our first one because I set it up with that third-party merch company before we owned the print business. We wanted to sell merch for Mullet Bros.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, hey, I need that domain back. They're like, yeah, sorry. And I was like, all right, well. So we hopped on live, and we had like, I think we had like 400, 500 people on it, which is the other crazy thing. I could have 400, 500 people on a live, not not have any nerves, but I get in a room full of 60. I'm like, like I'm like hyped up. I gotta hype myself up and stuff. But yeah, we got on live and I was like, all right, what's your guys' favorite domain? mulletbros.co.store. And they're like mulletbros.co. So that's the story about our merch shop.
Well, and that's, the tough thing is that, like, companies will hold that hostage.
Oh yeah.
If you've had tremendous success and you're starting to build that following and that brand recognition. And I mean, just think if that were to happen now.
Yeah.
Where now you've got to go back and redo all that. I mean, it could be a business killer.
Yeah.
And like you're like, oh shit.
And like when you are starting, obviously it's very hard to like throw money at things, but I promise it will be worth it as long as you don't give up on it, because I was like trying to save every dollar and like I was like, man, I don't know how much this is going to bring in. And if I would have just invested correctly and like actually learned myself how to do it with, whoever I paid, it would have saved me so much time now and like stress. Cause like you said, if our website changed now and we put it on a billboard, no one's going to find that. Or on our cars, like you're buying your wraps. If that QR code changed, that QR code's on there for no reason.
Yep.
So
yeah, it's those things were really not like I said, like back in the day, like they were unheard of.
Yeah.
And I told you, I think I shared a story with you when years ago when we had the tree service landscape company, the phone number was wrong. And like it's like, how do you unscrew that? And then the guy's number that it rang to, he tried to like hold us hostage over the number. And when the phone book company, they're like, well, we'll give you a free ad.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we probably just lost $100,000 worth of business.
Yeah,
because of this. Mm-hmm. And so it's always good, and I guess with that, it's just like talk to people that are in business.
Yeah.
They'll
tell you. Yeah.
Talk to Blake, talk to myself. Mm-hmm. I'll help anybody out.
Yeah.
And try to guide them in the right direction, and or just tell them my experiences and the stuff that we've had. It's easy.
You're not also like when you're going to talk to like another business owner, don't worry about it, because we actually get excited about like I don't know if I'm speaking for everybody honestly, but if you go ask somebody, hey, how do I do this, and they get upset, screw them. There's so many other people. I had my camera guy and we were going to look for a spot to film, and we got to the place and I was like, hey, we were just wondering if you guys would be interested in trading photography for like renting a room out, and the guy goes, oh my here we go. And he goes, I'm out of here. I can't do it. And I laughed. I laughed. And one of the workers he's like, hey, sorry, like you come with me, I'll show you. And so we, look at it, check it out. And we're like, yeah, this is going to work perfect. Still like put the deal together. And then we left, and my camera guy had his friend with him, and he goes, dude, how do you do that? I go, do what? He goes, that guy. I was like, one, I forgot about it already. I was like, you gotta, I was like, I forgot about it. And two, I promise that reaction had nothing to do with me. I was like, I was not inconveniencing him that much. So don't be afraid of inconvenience, because most likely they're excited to talk to you about it. They get excited about dreams.
But the one part of that though, like, yes, always go talk to somebody, but like don't, I guess, barrage somebody or like waste their time on
sure.
Like I'll answer anything if it's like, specific, but the transmission business that I do, it's it's really a unique one-off thing. I would have guys call me from, all over the country.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, hey, how do I build this, or how does it work? Or they'd they'd run it somewhere and they'd take it to a repair shop, and the repair shop would call me in, and I'd be like, look, man, I sell cookies. I don't sell recipes.
Yeah, right.
So like, don't, on some of that, like, don't get offended if somebody doesn't
Yes.
allow tell you like the trade secret or like their niche. But, to Blake's point, like, people are going to, share their business stories or what have you. But, there's some things like, don't think that person's a joke, like a jerk.
Yeah.
Cause I'm not going to call you and say, hey, where do you get, your print dyes and kind of that proprietary stuff or, but I might say, hey, where can I go to get the machine?
Yeah, for sure.
Or is there a machine that you would recommend over another one? Or if you had an unlimited budget, what would you buy?
Yeah.
Those are nice targeted questions because you're going to get that information and you're not going to kind of tiptoe over that, over that line. And it was unreal, like how many people would just get pissed at me.
Yeah.
And, we'd be at events and like they'd want like verbatim details. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, right.
I mean, are you going to call KFC and figure out what the hell the 26, secret spices are?
Yeah.
They're going to tell you to go pound sand.
Yeah. Don't get offended if if an owner's like, no, I don't have time, or just no to a question. Also, you don't get upset. Just be like, oh, I'll hop to the next one. If that guy's not going to help or whatever, say I'm too busy to help you. Go find someone else who does it.
Most business owners are always more than willing to help.
Yeah.
Even in the...
It's sales, honestly. Even asking for help. Like if I walk in and ask a business, hey, do you want to buy shirts? And they say no, we just hop to the next one. It's the same thing. Just don't get discouraged when people say no.
You're going to get more no's than you do yeses.
100%.
You just really, really are. And
someone wrote a book about that, The Power of No or something. They gave out, basically, I'll save you the time. The premise of the book was this company gave out an awards for the most no's that a salesperson received, and the person with the most no's also won the most yeses award, the most sales award. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, because you got to make the calls.
Yeah,
I mean, you got to do the work, and you're going to get rejected more times than not. But if you don't take that step or that risk, you're never going to find out. It's like asking the hottest chick out at the bar.
Yeah,
if you're scared to do that, you're never going to know if she's going to answer yes or no.
Yeah.
I mean, I was lucky because, that's what when I found Emmy, I went up and talked to her. Mm-hmm. And, kind of the rest is history. But if I wouldn't have, who knows? So many people are scared just to take that leap, because they're afraid of, failure. And, you hear the stories like the Wright brothers, like they flew a goddamn airplane, like no one had ever flown before.
Yeah.
And, pun intended, I mean, they did throw caution to the wind and like, hey man, we're going to like stand in this wood contraption with some cloth on it and hope for the best.
Yeah.
And, if they would have gave up, who knows where aviation would be? I mean, somebody would eventually, have done it, but
if someone's gonna do it, it might as well be you, right?
Yeah. I mean, look at Elon Musk. What's he worth? Like $52 billion or something.
Yeah,
he could not have been if someone would have been like, man, that's a dumb idea. I mean, and I'm pretty sure, his roots started through PayPal.
Yeah,
and I do remember when PayPal came on the market.
Really?
Yeah, and I remember it was actually used at a demolition derby because somebody's like, hey, do you take PayPal? And I'm like, the hell's PayPal?
I kind of do remember that. I was still pretty young though, right?
Yeah.
Like, when was PayPal?
I wouldn't say PayPal. Like the first time I started using it was probably around like 06, 07.
Okay, gotcha.
And I'm like, you can just pay me through my phone?
Yeah.
Like I thought it was like, the wildest thing.
Yeah.
The wildest thing ever. And I mean, electronic payments are, I mean, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
Just sometimes those ideas, spur, massive empires and, massive companies. I mean, shit, he's shooting rockets in space now.
Yeah. Yeah, right. From PayPal to, yeah.
And giving somebody, the premise is it's an alternative currency.
Yeah.
Instead of handing you cash, it's, my phone's clicking, and now my money's there. And with them, a small fee, because as in business, it's always everybody's got a goddamn fee about everything, don't they?
Yeah.
You know, like all my businesses. I mean, from like, you know, we use apps for renters to pay. They get their little cut.
Yeah.
You know, Stripe gets their cut. I mean, everybody, it's just like this little thing, and you know, but over time, it adds up. Restaurants now with the, you know, I see a lot now with the credit card fees.
They're charging the customer the credit card fees now, which is crazy because I was like wanting to sell big marketing packages at one point, just with like the content and the news articles and like magazines. We were doing all that stuff. We still do, but I was like, I want to put a very big one together, but with the shirts as well. Huge marketing package. I noticed the fees, and so I was like, how do I get these fees like out? This guy's like, oh, let me connect you with somebody, and we set up a meeting, and he goes, don't even worry about the fees. We can make it to where the customer pays the fees. I was like, that sounds like robbery. He goes, oh no, every restaurant does it now. It just started like this year. I go, are you kidding me? It's like, I had no idea.
That's kind of come about in the real estate business here.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
With the whole NAR settlement that took place August 17th, and you know, basically, you know, they're not going to list a seller's commission for the buyer because, and really, it's always been that way, but it's just always perceived that the seller will pay the buyer's agent's commission.
Right.
Well, now it's changed. So if someone comes to me and you want to go look at a house, and I say, okay, I need you to sign this buyer agency agreement that, you know, here's my commission. And, you know, if the seller is not willing to pay it, you're going to need to pay it.
Yeah.
And all these people are like up in arms and, you know, real estate agents are, you know, rip-offs. So I just passed my exam the other day.
Oh, congrats.
And thank you.
Yeah.
And
that's big.
Yeah, the actual success rate, like I have a whole new appreciation for agents, good ones.
Yeah.
But as the industry standard is, from people that sign up for the course, complete the course, and actually pass the exam, it's a 97% fail rate.
Yeah, I bet.
And
I bet.
So 3% of the people that sign up for it, like, I mean, I think there's a higher success rate with Navy SEALs than there are freaking real estate agents.
Yeah.
And real estate agents get bagged on all the time. But, you know, I'll tell you, it was kind of a, you know, you talk about doing hard stuff and, you know, putting yourself in there. And, you know, I've been studying for 4 months, you know, I bought a shit ton of properties without it, you know, so I already kind of had it in, you know, like when I took the test, it was at a center. The questions on the test were nothing like the curriculum.
Really?
Nothing.
That's like every test in college, which also, dude, we need to have a whole segment on college.
We will. We'll have the college episode. You know, and I even paid for the exam prep, which, you know, again, everybody's got their hand out. So, you know, I think it was like $550 for, you know, to take the class. This exam prep was like another $100. And I mean, I hit that thing hard for a week. Like I didn't do anything except like hammering this, watching YouTube videos on it.
Every test.
I mean, just taking, you know, as much content as I want, you know, studying, writing my own flashcards. And then I get to that test and these questions don't line. And I'll tell you, I got like 3/4 of the way through it and I about walked out. Like literally
every test in college that I prepared for, I was like, why am I even studying anymore? Yeah.
I mean, there was a math question on there that I literally did the calculation 20 times, and it wasn't a hard one. It was like figuring out the transfer tax, which is, I mean, pretty easy, and there was no correct answer, and I'm like, it's not there, you know, and I kept doing it. And, you know, in my mind, I'm like, you know, I kept telling myself, I'm like, man, I'm going to fail this. And then.
Is it fill in the blank?
There's multiple choice.
Multiple choice, gotcha.
And, you know, you just talk about the power of doing hard. And, you know, I had to stop and say, I got this.
Yeah.
You know, and I had to shift my mindset, you know, away from that negativity and actually, hey, you prepared for this, you studied, you know, take your time. And like I was like reading, because they'll throw weird words in there just to trick you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was reading, and then if there was a not in there, I would write not, so I knew like which one's the wrong one.
Yeah.
And I get on this, and I was there for 4 hours, and the room was cold as hell. There's people yelling next door.
Yep.
It's full of all like these French Creole people. It was just weird as hell. And that's almost an episode itself. But I finish it, and I'm waiting for the screen to say if I failed. They gave me a survey. Like, I just got done taking like, I don't know, 150 questions for 4 hours.
Now, how was that, buddy?
Yeah, like I didn't even get like my results. I get a goddamn survey.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, tell us about the class. So now then I had to answer a 20 question survey.
Oh my God.
Before I got the answers.
I would have been so mad.
And so I'm just like, okay, does my test reflect how I answer the survey? You get all these conspiracy things in your head.
Right.
And
everything was great. 10 out of 10.
yeah, I love this. Best time of my life ever.
Would recommend.
Yeah. Like, in fact, I'm going to make a TikTok about this right now to tell everybody in my group to do this. So finally, I get through it, and it comes up, and it's like calculating, and it's like slow, and then like the computer freezes, and I'm just like, oh my God. And then it pops up and says passed, and I was like, holy shit,
Yeah.
And but again, it's that doing the work, not giving up, pushing through the hard. I walk out, and I'm like, oh my God. I tell the guy, he's like, hey man, you passed. The test guy was weird as hell. But there was another guy there taking his exam, and this dude's been doing it for a year. He failed.
Oh.
And I mean, that dude was so pissed.
Yeah.
And he's like, this test is bullshit. I mean, he was out of his mind. I mean, you and I are on this.
Mm-hmm.
So was he.
Yeah.
But like, that guy's probably on like the National Real Estate Exam list. Like, do not ever let this let this guy in. And I just said, and that guy, like, I had to go to Galesburg to do it.
Yeah.
And that guy had to travel from the Quad Cities. So I'm like, God, man, what a long ride home.
Yeah.
But that's the other thing that happens with that exam. They say that it's a crazy amount that like fail the exam, but the people that actually retake it like is even less because they just quit.
Wow.
And just such a, and that's kind of our theme here is just that perseverance of pushing through.
Yeah.
Those moments.
Can you? We have to plan segments after this, but as like the introductory podcast, can you talk about like everything you're doing with Durham Opus, and then like everything that you want to accomplish with Durham Opus?
Durham Opus, when you break down the words, so Durham means hard, and opus in Latin means work. And then when you combine the terms, Durham Opus, it means work in progress. Emma started out as a Legionnaire coach. She still does that and coaches through the app and those things. But I really wanted to. I'll send you a picture because in my trans shop, like I wrote Durham Opus on like a board.
Oh, cool.
And there's grease and stuff around it. Really, what the intent was to because everybody's always leery about like you said, online coaching, supplements, all that other stuff. But I really kind of came up with that idea just so people could rally around a concept in a group, and like, hey, doing hard work is okay.
Yeah.
We live in this society where we're instant gratification and but really celebrating like hard work.
Yeah.
Really looking at the lens of we're all works in progress. And you're sold so many things of like 5-minute abs and drink this.
I can't tell you how many courses I bought. I was in high school spending my hard-earned money on courses.
Yes. and then what happens is people promise unrealistic results, and then people quit because they're like, man, I'm not seeing this. I don't look like that. So it was really just kind of symbolizing like doing hard work's cool. And if you fail, hey man, we keep going. So that's really where the the branding part came about, and like you yourself, like in what you guys do. I mean, you're part of it. Like you guys do hard work every day.
Yeah.
The concrete worker, the plumber, the electrician, hell, just the mom that stays home with 4 kids.
Absolutely.
They're all doing hard work in their space. And it's kind of celebrating it as Americans.
And we got to make it cool again.
Yeah.
During
Really?
COVID.
Really, you got to make it cool
Yeah.
because, the easy way, is always the path that people need to think. And, like with what, you're trying to do, you see so many people like, hey, sign up my course to be a Instagram millionaire, and I made $3 million in 2 weeks. It doesn't happen.
Have you seen the video of the guy in his garage with all the Lamborghinis and
Yeah.
bikes and stuff? All of that was rented.
Yeah.
All of that was rented.
But it's fake shit. And, for us, like, we pound out the work like every day. We get up at 4 a.m. and, and hit the gym and push ourselves. And, I told you earlier, I had a rough summer. I mean, I busted my ribs and it still hurts.
Yeah.
But I go to the gym every morning. I do what I can. If it's just walking or whatever it has been, it's just showing people that they can do hard work. So really the next steps is that's where I really like our partnership, because you want to get the name out.
Yeah.
And from my perspective, like, when I first talked to you, it's like, hey, I don't want to be in the t-shirt apparel business, but what I want people to know is that there's a group out there that just talks about doing hard things and overcoming obstacles, and it's how you get your name out there. Someone wears your shirt and they're in a store or whatever, like, hey, that looks cool, where'd you get it? And then and that's that segue. So that's why it works out good, because you guys are able to do that. And I don't have to go buy $20,000 worth of t-shirts and have sit in my garage
Right.
and hope that I have a small.
Yeah.
So hit these guys up for fulfillment, for your brand. So one thing we do is we actually go out and do like community events and group meetups, where we'll come to a town, with a group of people on like a Saturday, Sunday, and, we'll walk, pick up trash, and really it's about community. Sharing everybody's journey, their story. Actually, I have one coming up for Tori McCook. Her son was born with a genetic disorder, like the 14th chromosome is, I think, is deleted.
Oh, gotcha.
And, it's really supporting that. So there's going to be a group workout next Saturday at Cornerstone in Sheffield. But those next steps is just really continuing to build that community. Emmy does like the fitness, the nutrition coaching. She's a nurse. She does the work. My aspect of it is I like to do the mentorship, the business coaching.
Yeah.
Not everybody in that space needs to be a business, but if there's somebody that, hey man, I want to be a supervisor someday at my work.
Yeah.
What do I need to do?
Right.
And just help people reach their potential. So that's our next step, is to continue to grow the group, continue to grow the band and get, out to different, parts of the communities. I mean, heck, Emmy coaches people in Texas.
Right.
She coaches people in, Florida, different states, so it does catch on. But she truly is passionate about what she does and cares.
Yeah.
And really gives selflessly, to others. It's probably why she's a nurse.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. It's probably why she puts up with me too. So, because I'm a work in progress.
Are we all?
When I started my journey, like I was so out of shape and so just a POS, man.
Yeah.
I just kind of gave up on really everything in life. Like everything was just like, I guess this is as good as it gets.
Yeah.
I barely, I would walk with her in the morning. I mean, I barely could walk for 45 minutes, man. My legs hurt so bad. But as I continued to do it, I mean, hell, I hate to run, but I run 5Ks, and I've been in here before covered in drywall dust and everything. But what I've learned is like, having that lean muscle mass and that tissue, I'm able to, work longer. I'm able to not be as sore, but really just,
for sure.
building, building that community because, like I'm involved in county politics. I'm on the county board, but I really believe if we want to change the world, we have to start with ourselves.
Oh, 100%.
So that's really what Durham Opus is it gives people, a segue into helping themselves, which then they can help others.
Amazing.
And I always talk real quick about a tagline I have is there's 3 pillars that I believe are always key in life. And number 1 is physical fitness. Now, you don't have to be a marathon runner. You don't have to be a gymnast or anything like that. The next is, situational awareness, understanding what's going around in the environment around you. And the last is just preparedness. And really how those key elements happen is whether it's, in business, your personal life, but like having the ability to go do things, understanding what's needed of you, and having the tools to do it. Real quick, I know we're long, but I had in town one day in Sheffield. I was driving by, and there was a lady like her whole wheel and shit was like busted off her car.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that's weird. So I wheeled around to help.
Yeah.
Because most people don't. They just give you the finger now and drive away.
Yeah.
So I wheel up and I was like, hey, what's going on? Can I help you? She's like, I got this problem with my tire. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, I'll run home. I'll grab a jack and an air wrench. And I'm like, I'll change your tire for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I pull up, get the jack, and I jack the car up. And the whole like A-frame assembly like basically like falls off the car. And I was like, oh, man. And I got to looking. Well, like the ball joint broke. And the A-frame actually rubbed through the rim.
Oh,
like it basically like sliced the rim in half.
Wow.
And I told her, I was like, hey, look, I can't help you. Like you're gonna have to call like a tow truck or anything.
Yeah.
And my point with that story is I go back to my principles. So like physical fitness, like having the ability to change the tire.
Yeah.
This lady did not have it.
Yeah.
And she wasn't that old.
Yeah.
Situational awareness. You know how loud that goddamn thing was? I mean, you think about it, like your car broke and it's grinding
Had to have been
metal
so loud.
like nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah.
So understanding like, hey, something's just not quite right.
Yeah.
And then last is just, the preparedness out of that situation, having a jack, having a spare tire.
Yeah.
With our lives, we should be set up that way. Like, I know people forgot about COVID.
Yeah.
And the memes are still funny when you watch people fight over toilet paper.
Yes.
If you actually were prepared in your life, I'm not saying you got to have a bomb shelter or be crazy, but like maybe have like a couple cases of water. I don't know, like more than 2 rolls of toilet paper in your house. Because when that stuff happens, because nobody's going to come take care of you.
Yeah.
And that's really what the premises is where we're at. It's like, hey, how do you take care of yourself? How do you take care of your family? And instead of just like, hey, go buy this protein powder from me and move on with your life.
Right.
Like,
that's good.
Really just supporting, that mission because, what excites me about this is, you're a young entrepreneur, you're on your way. That excites me.
Yeah. Thank you.
Because so many people, they say, well, the younger generation, they're lazy, they're horrible. I don't feel that way.
Yeah. I think they just need a sense of direction is what I think it is. I think they need coaching.
Yeah.
I know. I wish I had Durham Opus or was in the group or knew you before because when I was growing the business, like I really was grinding. I wasn't sleeping right. I was eating like shit because I didn't sleep right. I thought I need all this sugar and like to keep me. Dude, I was fat as shit. I got to 285 pounds. That is not good.
No.
Especially like, and people are like, oh, well, you're broad. No, dude, 200, that is terrible for you. And I'm like, oh, this is just the sacrifices you got to make, bro. I had no idea how damaging I was being to myself. And now I'm back down to like 259 because I was like, I feel like shit, dude. I was like, my knees are hurting. I'm 23 years old. So I think what Durham Opus is doing is bringing so much value into it. Join the group if you can.
Yeah.
Because I know that would have saved me now a lot of time because now I have to take a little bit of time from the business to now fix my eating habits or my going to the gym.
I would love to bring Emmy in sometime too and just talk about like her journey and that mental toughness. Like Emmy's always been very quiet. She's obviously not as outspoken as I am, but like she has really come onto her own as like a leader.
Good.
And
That's awesome.
like even the like the content she creates and the passion that she puts into that and the time. And this is the unfortunate thing too is like the cards are stacked against everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you look at society, like, oh, don't work so hard, take the easy path, and you deserve a break, and mental health, mental toughness,
Yeah.
oh, and when you look at that, all that is based off of is consumerism.
Yeah. And also that that is the harder route
Yes.
to take it easy because there's like look at goods. Stuff's not getting any cheaper.
No.
And buying cheap meals at McDonald's is also not going to be good for you in the long run.
Well, it's the saying, "Pay me now, pay me later."
Yeah.
And I respect you for understanding and recognizing that. Being as young as you are, because my journey, I always thought like, well, I got time, because my eating went.
Good.
My eating went to hell, and I mean, my heaviest that I used to be is there was a point in my life I was 315 pounds.
Wow. Yeah.
And we all project this self-image of ourselves, and then I saw a picture of myself. I'm like, God, you.
That's what does it, man.
Yeah.
I went to an event in Connecticut, and I'm like, oh man, I'm spending a lot of money to get. And it's cool to post pictures, but I can't post that thing, man. It's like,
I'm like, man, you freaking fat bastard. Like,
Yeah.
and the thing is as humans, like we think that we're the only ones that struggle with this stuff.
yeah,
Like, yeah, I was a big, clear your plate kind of guy. Cause like,
yeah,
that's what my parent, clear your plate, clear your plate.
Yeah.
And, so I just would eat and like, I would think that this was a portion.
yeah.
And, I weigh less now than when I did in high school. There's a saying that says your abs are made at the dinner table. Emmy, I mean, that girl's an athlete. I mean, she was actually the 2001 BCR Athlete of the Year. We give her shit about it because there's a big like shrine to her in our garage.
Yeah.
And she hates it because she doesn't like that type of recognition. But so she was always like, athletic, but like she let herself go. Anyway, when she was doing her journey, this is like a year and a half ago. This is where I bought in. That's why I do share this story with people. She was lifting one day and hurt her back. She probably didn't lift for like 6 weeks or do anything, hard. Like she just walked.
Mm-hmm.
And she was getting dressed for work one day, and I was like, "Oh my God!" She's like, "What?" I'm like, "You're shredded, dude." Like she had like a 6-pack and like, I mean, just shredded. And I was like, "You didn't work out. Like you didn't do shit." That was my exact words. I'm like, "You didn't do shit." And she's like, "No, I just focused on my nutrition." Really the key is whatever your your ideal body weight is, you should eat that in grams of protein. So if someone wants to weigh 250 pounds. You should eat 250 grams of protein a day. And you can get it in nice sources. I mean, you can either get a protein shake, you can eat a steak, chicken, whatever.
A steak any
Yeah.
time.
I mean, I can eat it three times a day. And then you do want to be in somewhat of a calorie deficiency if you're, losing weight. But when you eat that protein, basically, like your body can't store excess protein as fat. Your body's actually working for you because it takes so much caloric energy to break down that protein.
Gotcha.
That you're like a little mini furnace. Where we get into trouble is because the stuff that they sell is like the grocery store. There's like 70% of the stuff in the grocery store that's actually poisonous to you.
Yeah.
You can eat carbs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, carbs aren't detrimental to you. It's just how are you sourcing your carbs? So like enriched wheat, like our bodies can't break that down. Seed oils are horrible for us. Processed sugars. What do they teach us? Like, oh, cook stuff in canola oil. Cook stuff in...
Do food podcast.
Yeah. But it's that's what we feel bad about clients, is because we'll have clients that are in a calorie deficiency. They're like, man, I'm not losing any weight. It's like, yeah, but when you're eating, like canola oil or sunflower oil, like it's actually toxic to your body.
Well,
And so then the calories you consume, your body doesn't know what to do with it, and it stores it as fat.
Hey, why don't we do a class even in high school? That's even the thing. Again, I'll save it for our school podcast. But
Right.
dude, why aren't we learning this in school? You got, I mean, was it 13 years including preschool, whatever. 13 years and nobody talks about that.
No.
Not one class. You're telling me in 13 years we can't fit that in the schedule, or how to pay taxes, or how to set up an LLC? Why it's important to set up an LLC? Why can't we figure that out as the best country in the world?
You know, but I look at that's, you know, and that's part of the Durham Opens mission. That's kind of what I like. You know, what you're doing is, you know, those are long-term goals that I actually want to have, is like mentor young people of like.
Isn't that cool? You're already doing that though.
Yeah.
Isn't that like you wanted to be a teacher? I meant to say that earlier. You wanted to be a teacher, and now you're literally coaching, and you didn't need a degree for it.
Yeah, my business partner in the bin business, he's 34 years old. Never started a business, so I really almost don't care if I make money out of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the teaching experience, you know, to get him to set up for his life. My real estate partner, he's 24. We took that from, you know, buying one to now we have 7 in a year.
Awesome.
And, you know, we continue to, you know, I mean, you know, just churn that. That's the future of our country. You guys are. You know, I want to give, you know, selflessly, you know, and just teach people, like, because that's what's going to save our country.
Yeah.
And it's just, you know, like I said, the white and the no hair is just knowledge. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I've learned all this like shit.
That's why I want
wrong.
to do an event here, because I know when I was in high school, I was like, again, I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But if we threw like events here, and like we don't need a degree to teach people. You know what I mean? Get people who are coaches in the room, or successful entrepreneurs. And we get up there and interview them just like this, and we give everybody a note. Say we give this, I guess, 18-year-old kid, 17-year-old kid, with each speaker notes. Be like, hey, we're gonna bring these guys on here. This guy did 300 million in revenue in retail sales. You know, like, we're gonna interview them, and you take notes on what you learn from each guy.
Yep.
They will get more value out of that than 13 years of school, public school.
I mean, absolutely. And the concerning part to me always was, like, again, in the corporate space, and I said earlier, you know, I interviewed thousands and thousands of people. Like, when people would come for a job interview, I mean, they were horrible.
Yeah.
And
how to interview. That'd be a great one for you to.
I even saw, like, people that, you know, we had like mentoring programs you know, within the business to try to, you know, upskill people. And then, you know, we even had you know, $1 a day for college, and then they made it for free. But we would have people come in and do, you know, interview for like a manager position, and they'd just like be slumped down and be like, what's up? Like, what's up? Like, what?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you guys
I have a cool interview story.
Real quick on
another day.
When you guys, you know, interview, you're vying for my attention.
Yeah.
You know, usually interviews are a half hour. If you don't captivate me in the first 2 minutes, I'm scrolling on my phone.
Yeah.
Because they're usually through Zoom.
Yeah.
You know, and I've had these professional people that, you know, they have PhDs and all this stuff. And I'm like, man, you're boring as shit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to hire you.
Yeah.
This is a leadership position where you have to coach and teach other people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you suck. Like, I don't even know that I want to have my dog around you.
Yeah. No.
Oh.
What happened? What happened?
Well, nothing happened, but so I've got 3 labs.
Okay.
And then my youngest lab, I call him Pud.
Okay.
He's like a miniature lab. I don't know, like, he's like little squatty dude,
Okay.
cute as shit. Well, I took a picture of him the other day, and I posted. I'm like, hey, I was worried about this little guy. He disappeared for a little bit, but then he came back. And the whole Haitian reference.
Oh,
and only certain people got it.
Yeah.
Well,
I have not scrolled at all recently because I've been posting and getting off and doing something, but that is hilarious.
So somebody commented, you know, on my post, like, hey, keep them away from, like, Haitians. And of course that got, you know, deleted.
Yeah.
You know, or, you know, down to the bottom. And it's like, look, they're just trying to have fun.
Yeah.
You know, like
Just making a joke.
that.
This is why we can't have HR department.
This is why we cannot have a HR. But you know, I think that's a big thing in the world is having humor.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
you know, where people can, just laugh because, we all have differences. But we're all the same.
That's the message that gets preached on the Mola Bros page, the Mola Bros content creating. If that guy makes a joke about his situation, you have zero to get offended about. There's nothing you can be offended about.
Well, exactly, because you make the best of everything, and I love the. You watch the Kill Tony stuff at all?
Love Kill Tony.
Oh my God.
Nolan is like been writing bits for the last like 2 years just in case he gets a call. It's like, so funny, dude. Oh,
But he would be perfect on it.
manifesting. Yeah, he's been manifesting that.
Good.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a whole other thing too. Is the manifesting. Dude, it works.
Manifesting podcast.
I'm telling you, it works, man. Like if
I agree.
you see yourself in certain lights, man. I'll tell you, like, I know some of the stuff gets like kind of a little crazy, like what people do in the routines, and like me, I manage a lot of shit.
Mm-hmm.
I got a lot of stuff going on 24/7, and when I tell people about it, like, yeah, but how do you do that? And it's like, well, I like take bullshit out of my life,
Yeah,
but the number one thing I do is I do a power list.
yeah,
So I have a planner, and then every day, like I write. Yes, I know we've talked about that, and it's up there. But like,
yeah.
I tell people, I write down 5 things.
That's
I don't
good.
write down 100.
Yeah,
I write down 5
I catch myself doing that a lot. Yeah, writing down so many things. Yeah.
because, well, why that's dangerous to write down so many things, even though you have so many things to do.
Mm-hmm.
So if you keep it at 5, and I cross this off, I cross this off, I cross this off, I cross that off, I won.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll see a lot of times I always end up with things that are like taglines like win the day.
Yeah,
And, people have these monumental goals in their mind, like, oh my God, I gotta make $36 million by the time I'm 30.
mm-hmm.
And that's a great goal to have. But how you get there is just by winning the day.
Winning a bunch of little battles that add up to it
Every day. Like, we tell our clients that, like, hey, you're not going to be perfect all 7 days of the week. But if you were only good for 4, let's try for 5.
Mm-hmm.
The next week, let's try for 6. But if you stack enough of those wins on top of each other, you start winning the week.
Yeah,
You start winning the month. You start winning the year.
absolutely.
And, really that breaks down that power list. Because if you get too much on there, and, granted, like there's some days like, oh, I got all this. But if you get too much on there and you're like, man, I didn't get my list done today.
That's good. Yeah,
And then you're
that's
like,
really good.
that sucked, man. I'm giving up.
Yeah, I need to start implementing that.
But just, those little things. And then, you get that done.
Yeah.
Then it's golf time.
Yeah, I need. Yeah, right. Yeah, I need two. I need a huge list so I don't forget about anything, and then I need to make a daily power list. That'd be good.
If I don't do that, then just stuff falls through the cracks, and then it's like, yeah, well, I guess I'll just go watch Netflix.
Yeah.
When people used to talk about programs, I'd be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. I did that when I first started the business. I gave up TV because I was like, man, these TV shows are always going to be here, and I can always go back and watch them, but I'm losing so much time and so much money by sitting here watching, like, Yellowstone's coming out. I'm going to make an exception for Yellowstone, but that's just because that's what I love. Like, I love that show, but I gave up TV for like a very long time when I first started.
There's one thing I do make an exception. I watch Coffee Walk with Dennis Collins.
I've never heard of it.
So the show Fast and Loud.
Okay, yeah.
So Dennis was always the money guy,
Gotcha.
and so he kind of hunts down cars. But what I like Dennis is he's a risk taker.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he'll go spend crazy amounts of money on cars to try to resell them, and sometimes he wins, sometimes he doesn't. But I just love that about him, that he's like willing to go do it.
That also hypes you up though too. That in a way is an investment.
Yeah.
Like it hypes you up. Like there's certain YouTube like entrepreneurs that I watch, like Ben Mala and Grant Cardone,
Oh.
and like those are like funny when like you're stressed out and you're like, oh, okay, I just want to see like Ben Mala go buy a jet real quick, or like Grant Cardone like be bragging about how his day went. Like it's super funny, but
you're getting, the thing is like you're
getting value.
you're
from
getting
it.
value out of it, and then sometimes as entrepreneurs, like you do need to unplug.
Yeah,
You know, and sometimes it doesn't, like those things, it's like, hey, I'm gonna like kind of unwind my brain. But when you unplug in that capacity, it actually spurs positive thought.
yeah, positive thought and creativity.
Yep.
For sure, absolutely.
You look at, those guys, because I saw one earlier today. Ben Mala was there
He's
buying
so funny, dude.
I
I wish he was my best friend.
oh my
Like, dude.
god, oh my god, and just the stuff they do. But like I feel those guys because I'm in that space.
Yeah,
He's real. Hey, let's do the numbers, and
yeah,
I see so many, folks in real estate. They're like, oh, I need to go buy investment properties, and they'll go buy something, and I'm like, do you know that you're going to lose $500 a month on that?
yeah.
What do you mean? I bought an investment property. Everybody makes money on them. No, like
Yeah.
like everybody's got their own little scheme, but they're like, that's not going to make money.
Yeah, the Consult with Ben calls. You ever watch those? Yeah,
Like it's just like it's not going to make money, and you just like your business, like you have margins.
mm-hmm.
And if you can't give away those margins, because if you do, you're not in business.
Mm-hmm.
Why do people do this?
What's that?
They ask a small business all the time for a discount,
Yeah, dude.
and
Oh,
all the time. And no offense, but friends and family are the worst.
they are. They really are.
And
100%. And I'm gonna clip this.
They are.
And post it. They post it. They.
And no one asks Walmart to give a discount.
Yeah. Never once.
And it's like, why do you think that I'm not charging a fair price?
Mm-hmm.
Then I need to give you a discount.
I will say this on the positive side. Like I have some friends that like will pay for everything.
Yep.
Like when I have something new out, they'll do it. Like you have no idea how much I appreciate that, or like a small business owner appreciates that. Like as a small business owner, you have dreams of being very successful. When we get to that point, we are bringing you with us,
Right?
Like because you supported us from day one, never asked for a discount, and you have no idea like how much we appreciate it. Like it is literally the coolest thing that anybody. Don't get me a birthday gift. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I think you covered everything on the negative side. Like, you never ask Walmart, you never ask anybody.
Yeah.
Why do you expect your buddy to give you a discount? Like this is what we're putting our blood, sweat, and tears into.
The best thing that you can really do for a small business, liking and sharing,
Mm-hmm.
is probably the most important thing that you can do on their content.
Absolutely.
And the second is reviews.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take, for instance, the barbecue place over in Wynette, Rossi's Barbecue. They
Rossi's, yeah.
started up, a few months ago, and Kyle and Stephanie are fabulous, fantastic people. I mean, they really put their heart and soul into their business. They want to deliver. Now I've cautioned. When I drove by the night, it was like packed.
Yeah.
It was like the old Chicken Fridays, like at the VFW. I cautioned Kyle because I'm like, hey, you have to grow your business at scale.
Yeah.
And my transmission business, I was guilty of that. I grew too quickly. My quality suffered. I suffered, and it took me a long time to build that back.
Yeah.
But like me, like when I eat there, like I tag them.
Yes. Oh yeah.
A few weeks ago, I drove my Firebird over there, took a picture of it, said, "Hey, killer food again," right in front of their sign.
Yep.
Tied it, and I think, the back end of it, I think, I have a way smaller following than you do, but, I think there was like 5,000 impressions off of it.
Yeah.
So
100%.
what that means for people is that there's 5,000 people that,
Yeah.
winged past it, at least somewhat saw it. You know how much, that helps their business.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's what I think is cool about building the Facebook page on the Mole Bros printing side, because a lot of it, like our following on the Facebook page, our Facebook has like 3.2 or something like that, but a lot of it's business owners. So whenever like I like deliver shirts or something like that, like I know I've done it for like Sizzlers a couple
mhm.
times. Like I'll just get an ice cream while I'm there and just like post and like tag them
Yep.
and stuff like that. That is worth so much to them. And it's almost like a selling point for us, because like if you buy shirts from us, you'll end up on our Facebook page. You
Yes.
know what I mean? And ideally a lot of people are gonna see that. For us, I had a buddy, for example, Braden Debates, shout out Braden, but he posted one of our hats. And I was like, man, I started getting messages about hats, like doing hats. And not only like from other businesses, but I had friends from high school I hadn't talked to in probably 5 years, 6 years,
Right.
and they're like, "Hey, how do I get one of those hats?" And I'm like, it cost him nothing. It cost him a couple minutes to post a picture of those hats. Like also just businesses who want to do content, one like usually is about like 10%. So if you have one like, you'll probably have 10 more views.
What's funny is like being on this podcast, and thank you so much for, for making this happen. And
Thank you for bringing so much value. I appreciate you.
and
You're pushing me right now. I wouldn't be doing this tonight if you didn't call. So,
right. What's funny is I do a lot of, like shorts and reels, and usually just quick like motivational snippets. And I have people that run into me in the public, and they're like, I'll be walking or rocking, and they're like, "Hey, am I going to be on your podcast?" And I'm like, I don't have a podcast. Like, it's a reel.
Yeah.
And these people, like,
Be my real.
I'm friends with them, but they have never liked anything.
Mm-hmm.
But yet they're watching it, and they'll even like. There's times like I've posted something that morning and ran into them, and they're like, "Hey, I saw the doll, wherever you're at or whatever you're doing," and it's like, you've never
You never liked it. That's
once,
weird. That's
and
yeah.
and I don't. I guess I don't live and die by the, by the like button, and it's because, those stories. But it's very important though for people, like, truly, if you like, you want to help somebody in business.
Right hand on the Holy Bible. I didn't see the post about the dog.
Now you'll go look. You'll be like, and it probably got nuked after.
Yeah, probably got shadow banned.
Because it was funny. I did get a text from a buddy that morning, and because I actually try to. I know you can schedule posts, but I always try to post
as it happens.
As it happens, and but I usually try to get one in like the beginning of the day, so hopefully it's in that feed.
Right.
But I had a buddy of mine text me, and he's like, "Dude," he goes, "that was hilarious." He's like, "People didn't even understand what you were saying," and it's like, it's that dry, sarcastic sense of humor I get.
Yeah.
But what we see so many times is like, and it's our society on the social media is like the victimhood.
Mm-hmm.
People post on there like, "Oh, my day sucked, and I got a flat tire, and I burnt my eggs and everything." It's like, look, your tire's been going low for freaking 4 weeks. You're just too goddamn lazy to put air in it or take it and get fixed, and now it caused you an inconvenience. But we see those posts, "Oh, sorry for you, girlfriend," and they'll get like 500 likes and all this stuff. But then you post something that's positive, like, "Hey, I hit my weight loss goal, or I did whatever,"
Mm-hmm.
and then that gets like, like very few. And that's too part of the Durham Opus thing, is like celebrating that hard work.
Yeah.
And what we find is like through like our group and our content, and I love this. I love the interaction.
Yeah.
Between our members, and they're posting their wins, and then they do post their struggles.
Yeah.
But their struggles aren't from a victim perspective.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're like, "Hey, I missed my water goal today, but tomorrow I'm gonna get after it." Just seeing, that with people, and it releases things in their brain, because they're showing that they're able to do those hard things.
Yeah. That's
And
why I think people take to Nolan so well
oh,
because like they see like they can see his struggles instead of like because he can't hide behind them, but he's also
right.
like making jokes about it, and people are like, oh, that's like really cool. And the DMs we get, they're like, I was depressed and struggled with anxiety or loss of a family member, um, and then I saw Nolan and I was crying laughing,
Yeah.
and so that goes hand in hand with the Durham Opus. People can see your struggles, but like post some good stuff. The people that I have on Facebook that always complaining about some stuff, I'm like, I've never seen a positive. Why are you even on here? I've never seen a positive post.
I I hide them,
Yeah, yeah.
because and that's a big thing too. Is like, in order to be successful, you got to cut the negative out of your life.
Oh, 100%.
And like you said, if you look at that guy right there, uh, you could cry victim all day long.
Yeah.
And he doesn't.
Yeah.
And I mean, I still laugh, dude, when you're telling me he's trolling people that are trolling him with,
Oh, yeah. He started a separate Instagram account to troll people. The other day, dude, quick funny story. I walked in the living room. I'm like, dude, my knee is killing me. And he goes, yeah, my legs aren't doing too good either. And I'm going back to work. Sorry, sorry. It's so weird, but I'm very thankful. Like you talked about time earlier. Like I've seen. I grew up knowing that our time is short and our time is valuable,
yeah.
and complaining about stuff isn't really gonna. In a weird way, we were blessed to go through everything that we've been through.
Yeah.
So
Well, look,
be thankful for your struggles.
I mean, like really, like you guys as a, as a family,
Mm,
and how you're able to, to come together and like what you have here, and it's truly that unit,
mm,
and supporting each other, and yeah, and everybody has, your dark days and your times and woe is me's, but like, I mean, at the end of it, what a great success story.
oh,
you,
thank you.
and to me, that's why I'm sitting here,
Yeah,
is because, I see that just in certain people, and I look at anybody that, I'm gonna invest, time in, or work with. It's because I see that value in them.
very cool.
uh
Thank you for that.
It's funny. In the corporate world, you take personality studies all the time,
Yeah,
and they try to match, and there is value in them. And one of my,
they do it in college now.
yeah,
Mm.
and I mean, hell, even Match.com, and
Oh yeah.
I mean, your favorite site, Grinder, is on there, but
Nolan would have liked that joke. Nolan would
so
have elaborated on
yes.
that.
But one of the things that I guess was a flag or whatever of mine was, my matter of fact relationship with people,
Mm,
and like for years that like always bothered me, and I'm like, I don't want to, come across that way, and it finally dawned on me one day, like, why that's there, and it's because of that. Like, I don't have negativity in my life,
yeah,
and I look at, like, time is very, very valuable to me, and doing things. It's like I just don't waste my time on that.
yeah,
So I will come across to people that, well, God, he was short. It's like, well, I gave you your answer, and like, I
yeah,
moved on. Like, I'm not gonna hug you, like, and if
yeah,
someone really needs a hug, that's gonna benefit from the hug. By God, I will hug them.
yeah,
But
for sure.
so that actually, had clicked with me of like, man, that makes sense, and I just do it subconsciously,
Yeah, yeah,
But I also learned to, like, to take the time, because you don't know that there might be a diamond in the rough.
yeah,
You know, there might be somebody that has that value, and you just need to
yeah.
bring it out.
I wish I had that radar a little better. That's something I want to work on is finding I because I do see potential in a lot of people that aren't using it, but you can't make them do it. Like you can't make it. There's no way of making them like pursue their potential. There's been a couple people we talked about recently, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and but from, as you grow your business and scale, those will be, those will be tough conversations that you'll learn
Mm.
that you're going to have in your organization where, if someone is not, meeting those expectations, you got to get rid of them.
Yeah.
And it's not a personal thing. It's just like, hey, I don't think you're happy here. Um, maybe this is a little bit more than you need, or maybe I need a little bit more than you can give. This just isn't going to work.
Mm.
I'll tell you, Blake, that's been the biggest transformation that I've seen in the workplace.
Yeah.
And I know everybody's like, oh, my generation was harder, and I walked uphill both ways in the snowstorm, and I didn't have shoes and all that bullshit. Every person faces hard.
Yeah.
He faces hard, you face hard, I face hard. Our hards are all different.
Yeah.
But what I've seen is in the workplace is the lowering of the standards.
Mm.
And where you basically you're gonna work to what's expected, but we've lowered the standards so much, and then everybody's like, well, why does nobody work? Well, because you allow it.
Yep.
So
100%.
I just that's business advice to you and to others out there. When you're creating a business and you're building stuff, don't lower your standard.
That's good.
If Cody's supposed to produce X amount, hey, I know we're bros and we're doing this, but like I need this done.
Yeah.
Or Joey or Bill or whoever is in the organization, like there has to be that minimum, and then you help, you lead them to get there, but
Right.
because then once you hit it really, really big, what you don't want to have is those guys are company killers.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, if you get a couple of those people in your office or in your organization that, don't hit the mark, don't produce, don't hit your standard, they will take you down.
Yeah.
And you just got to get rid of them. And those are tough conversations.
For sure.
I say this about conversations and difficult conversations. And this is truly for the audience too. Like the hardest thing about a difficult conversation is only one thing. And it's from the time that that you have to have it to the time you deliver it.
That is true.
That is the worst part of it.
Yeah.
Because after you're done, it's done.
Yeah.
But if like, hey man, next week I gotta have this conversation with my wife or my girlfriend or my kids or whatever that is, that's where that anxiety creeps in and, the worry and you're staying up at night. But that's the hardest part of it.
Yeah.
But, if you go into it prepared, I mean, they get easy. It's kind of like the general meeting thing when I was shaking. The more you do them and you just face the fact that you have to have them.
Yeah.
It's easy.
You're doing on tough conversations. Because I have a couple examples.
That'll be a fun one because I have a lot of like crazy safety stories and things just to talk about. Like, yes, that'll be a good one there because it's so. And you work with a lot of people.
Yeah,
and they all got a lot of weird stuff, man. Like, it's just, but I guess that's what makes us unique as humans too, is we have that.
So it makes it fun, I guess. I guess fun is a word for it.
It's just wild. And I was I kind of leave. I know kind of wrap up. We've been here for a long time, and I've loved it. But when it comes to conversations, like people used to tell me, like, man, I can't believe you've never gotten fired for the things that you say, because I'm me.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I'm always just been me. Don't be fake. People see through the fake bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
And don't worry about, people canceling you or, worrying about this. Like I don't give a shit.
Yeah, who cares?
Like, I mean, either I'm going to add value to you or I'm not, or you were never going to be my customer.
Yeah, right.
And I think I shared the story about the painter guy. Didn't I tell you about that in town? He made
What was that?
So he used to have a business up uptown, but he painted like grain bins or something.
Oh,
Old guy.
yes. Yep.
And he made that comment online to his partner, who they were in mutual agreement that the way he spoke to him was okay.
Yeah.
And basically he made a racial slur about the guy. And they've always, that's just how they talked.
Yeah.
That's how men talk.
Yeah.
And all these people were like trying to cancel this dude. And he didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
And I'm reading the comments and I'm like, you would never hire this guy for your service anyway.
Yeah.
But you're trying to cancel him? Like, who do you think you are?
Yeah.
like you never.
Yeah.
Never you're gonna do this. So but I think people are so, afraid and to speak the truth because they worry about that. Like,
Yeah.
What's somebody gonna think if I actually question something? And it's like, who gives a shit?
Yeah. The person that's worried about what you're questioning is the problem.
Exactly. Like I've found the people that are the most concerned about that are probably the ones that are doing the wrong.
Yeah.
Like these people that are so worried about, racism and all this other stuff, like
Global warming.
they're probably racist.
I want to know.
Like
Yeah.
in global warming, like, oh my God, climate change. And it's like, okay, but why did the Obamas buy the oceanfront property?
Yeah. Why? Yeah. Why is who was it? AOC? Is that who was big on it?
Yeah.
She's like flying her jet around to speak at the next event. She's worried about like air pollution.
But it makes some money.
It does. And you know how I know all of that is BS? I don't remember who told me this. I don't know. It might have been something I saw online, but I think it was Dan Pena. You ever heard of Dan Pena?
Yeah.
Trillion Dollar Man. He goes, you know how I know it's all bullshit? Banks are still giving loans. He goes, follow the banks.
Yes.
They're not loaning out something that's going to be on, catch on fire or be in the ocean or something. They're not worried about that. But
and on that point, just for the audience, so the audience knows, like the two entities where the house always wins, it's insurance companies and banks.
yeah.
If insurance companies were truly fearful of that, they wouldn't insure it.
Yeah.
They wouldn't insure it.
Yeah.
And banks wouldn't loan against it. Like,
Yeah.
the house always wins with banks and insurance companies because, they want their money back.
Mm-hmm.
And if it was like they were true, like, whoa, hey, this is gonna be underwater in like 3 years.
Yeah.
We're out.
Yeah.
Because they're not gonna pay the claims.
Yeah.
And you look at all the data, like, I mean, and insurance companies are smart. That's why they make you download that app on your phone, so that they track. They're data mining you.
Oh yeah.
When you're you're driving and your behaviors and
Yeah.
And really even think of like,
Yeah,
they can even put risk on you. Like they can see like, oh, you've been to 6 bars this week.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you guys are worried about TikTok.
Yeah.
Mining.
Yeah.
You need to be worried about these insurance companies.
Oh.
and banks. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that is funny though. The TikTok and guess what? Nothing happened with it.
No.
It was like this whole big thing about TikTok.
You know why? Someone got paid.
Oh yeah.
Somebody got paid. TikTok had to fork a little money.
But then but you look at what, Zuckerberg came out and said, hey, the U.S. government specifically told me to suppress this, and this.
Mm-hmm.
And yet we're okay with that.
Yeah.
But we're not,
We
okay
also
with
gotta
TikTok.
We also got to have a discussion about how everything's about money, especially when it comes to government. Like,
Just real quick, a conversation with a lady, about our politicians, since I guess I am one, but actually never even campaigned. I dropped one time. I'm like, hey, can somebody sign my petition? And that was the extent of it, because nobody wants to get involved.
yeah.
But I said, you look at these politicians, and I'm like, so I mean, I make what they make,
Mm-hmm.
and I've not been able to take what I make and make what they make.
Yeah.
And it's like, how good are they? Because all of them do it,
Yeah.
and that should be where it just pisses people off, because, I mean, you can't take, $175,000 or $200,000 of their salary and turn that into multi-millions of dollars.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
I follow the sites that
we're-
show the trades and stuff.
Yeah.
And like something like 50% of them are actually better than any Wall Street analysts out there.
Oh yeah.
And
Yep.
it's like, and if you ever, we'll have a whole episode on politics, and then you'll get canceled. But
Yeah. Can't wait.
when you just look at it, like, these people are dipshits.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I remember growing up as a kid, like, you look at, man, that person's a congressman, they got to be smart or whatever. And it's
Yeah.
like, they are dipshits.
Yeah.
And they just lie.
Yeah.
And, you even see, I see that at all levels.
Yeah.
And
Every level. Yeah.
and it's that, I guess it's that false sense of security that people have of, like, and again, that comes back to my physical fitness, situational awareness, and preparedness. Like, I have a member that I'm on the board with, and they're talking about, like, disaster plans or whatever, and they want to spend like a gajillion dollars on some generator for the courthouse, and I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Well, in case something happens, like, we can assemble here and everything. I'm like, if something that catastrophic happens, I said, I don't even know that you're going to make it here. And I'm like, and what are any of you going to do?
Yeah.
Like, you start filtering water for people? Like,
yeah.
But just that weird perception that, the government's here to help us. It's like, they didn't help us through COVID.
No.
And, any event. And here's what's weird. And we'll get into this more in the politic issue, but this is truly anytime there's been like economic distress in my lifetime, like, whether it be a recession or just hard times on the American people, they've always, to buy votes, they've always kicked we're going to give you all a tax rebate or a check or something. And what's been bizarre to me was, like, the last 3.5 years, like, there's been nothing, no talk of it. It's like,
yeah.
Huh. And the other thing, and we'll save this for this episode, and this is maybe something for the audience to chime in. Like, everybody talked about the spending and the economy and everything, and well, people were just going out and buying crazy stuff, and it's like, they got $600. Like, like that was like the most Americans got $600, or they got $1,200 with their family, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, how did they buy the RV in the driveway with $600? Like, it's like, but then the other politicians be like, well, if you guys didn't spend so much, we wouldn't have inflation. I'm like, they had $600.
Yeah.
Like, most of them went out and bought, like,
shotguns.
A shotgun or a
That's
big,
what all my buddies did.
Yeah.
They went and bought shotguns with it.
Yeah, or you went and bought a big screen TV and a couple of cases of Cools or something.
What they should have done was pocketed it, because they're going to come back and take it from taxing us.
Oh,
again. So,
yeah, and then but I would actually love someone, and we won't see this till like 20 years from now, but like that would be really good if somebody could tell us, like, how did that $600 stipend? Granted, we printed the money, but
yeah,
how did the American people cause this?
Yeah.
And I'm like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm missing something, but
I've been trying to crack the code on it. And I want to say there's no way they can do it again, and I have some faith in that, but I think they could after a couple of years, because people are forgetting. People are forgetting that it happened.
Yeah.
But
People are forgetting that, it was, what's the term, mass formation psychosis. Where you would walk by the, like, at work, I'd walk by the break room and, like, the death toll and you had the backhoes. And then what threw me for a loop was, like, I'd watch this and I'm like, I bought into COVID for like 14 days.
Yeah.
I remember when they were going to lock everything down, I was at the bar in Wyanett and nobody was out. And like I was like playing slot machines and I won like $1,500 and I'm like Snapchatting everybody. I'm like, why is nobody here? It's Sunday fun day. Like
Yeah.
it's the last day of the world. But
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. I mean, people are forgetting about '08. '08 was not that long ago, and I would say if our country keeps going in the direction that it's going, and we make a couple wrong votes in November, I think we might be experiencing another one of those, not
well,
too far away from it.
you know what I find too is,
I was 8 years old, and I remember '08. I
oh,
remember being terrified.
well, you know what? I guess they are so forgetting of it because, you know, everybody talks about the inflation. We'll get more on that in the politics issue and the tax issue, but um, when I look at them like, yeah, I mean, the cost of goods goes up, and two, when you print a bunch of money, that causes that. The other thing that causes cost increases is energy costs.
Mm.
I mean, if you want to solve poverty, you need to have cheap energy. So you need to have cheap oil, cheap
Yeah.
electricity. You're a business owner. I'm a business owner. If my inputs are down, I can pass that on to my customer.
Yeah.
But if I've got to pay more, and you have to pay more because everything's shipped here by a truck. But when I look at the prices, and everybody's like, this is so high and blah blah, this is so bad. And I saw someone post this on the Facebooks today. They're like, yeah, but the drive-through line at Scooters is still out to the road, and at Wendy's and at McDonald's, like people haven't changed their spending habits.
Yeah.
And it's like you need to, like budget for that if if that's truly impacting you. But they still spend like they have the $600 stimulus check.
Yeah, for real.
Like how did and what I've always been amazed by, and this is another business lesson in how to set your life up. Anything that you buy truly should be an asset.
100, especially when you're young.
Especially when you're young. And
I spent. Sorry, go ahead. I don't want to.
But like we fall into like consumerism that hey, I need the new car, I need this, I need that.
Yep.
But anything that you buy, you should buy with the premise that it's going to make you money.
Yeah.
If you truly want to be in that space and set up yourself for financial success. And actually buying it, I do agree with Cardone a little bit. Buying a house really honestly isn't an investment. But from a house perspective, what is an investment is if you buy a duplex and you live in half of the duplex and then you rent the other half out. Mm-hmm. That is an asset because, so many people think, well, my home's an asset. No, your home's an expense.
Yeah.
But
unless you're in a growing market, but
yeah,
we would not.
Well, but then you're in a growing market, and you always got to remember you have a silent partner in business.
Yeah,
and it's called the federal government.
Yeah. They're coming. Okay, the thing I wanted to talk about earlier was Kamala's unrealized gains tax. Have you heard of this?
Oh yeah.
What the fuck? That, for the people who don't know, that is paying taxes on money that you do not have yet, on how much your assets are worth. That's what that means.
So you look at this, you spend so like your 401k or even like your savings account, or people used to buy like treasury bonds when kids were born. Mm. So anything that you have that might have appreciated in value, so appreciated means it went up, you owe money on.
Yeah. And
that's some communist shit there, man.
That
because
is insane.
Like you don't even know, and that you have that. So our county governments do this too. So what happens is, like, you see a lot of people right now, like, they're pissed off that their property taxes have went up, and how county governments do it is because they raise your assessed value, which I think is, again, illegal taxation on unrealized gains.
Yeah.
Because yes, the market went up and you say that my house is worth more, doesn't mean that it is.
Yeah.
the market dictates when I go sell my property what it's truly worth.
Also, I don't have if I buy this microphone at $10 and it is now worth $100, they want to tax me based on the value of it being $100 now.
Yeah.
But I bought it for 10 and I don't have the taxes to pay 8% or whatever the sales tax, but you don't have that money. I never sold this phone yet.
You don't have it.
I don't have the money.
So your stocks, your 401ks, all of those things, like you don't have the money, and now you're gonna have to sell the asset to actually pay for, the taxes on them. And that's the scam, I think, a little bit in real estate with the the assessed values.
Yeah.
I feel like, if this property here gets sold, the next person buys it, that's now the market price.
Now that's the
that's the assessed value.
Yes, yeah.
And
we agree it's got to raise, but that shit shouldn't raise till it's sold.
Yeah.
That's
and so the other thing, real quick, just from the county aspect, why people are also seeing their taxes go up here is so the GIS survey, basically they fly a plane around to spy on your property.
We're really getting into it. That's more IRS.
I know. I know. We're getting deep in the weeds here.
I'm gonna have to cut this up into multiple episodes.
So
it's gonna be 1 a.m.
But they'll have to. But what they'll do is, so they flew the survey in the county in 2014, and the pictures are ass. They took it with a Polaroid, and well, now technology's gotten so much better. So now they fly it, and they can even tell how many windows are in your house.
Wow.
So now, they can basically, utilize that to drive your assessment. And, so it's, now you're seeing that go up because, people that built decks or sheds and stuff out behind their house now, because they didn't have record of it. Now they do. Now your assessment goes up. So I voted no for it.
Yeah.
And everybody looked at me like, what the hell? And I'm like, hey, man, if somebody got one up on us, good for them.
Yeah.
But they actually did something nice, I guess. But so in Illinois.
Godfather.
Yeah. I grant you this gift.
Keep your shed. Keep your shed.
But one thing that they did is they went through, and one thing you have in Illinois is you have what's called a homestead exemption. So it's $15,000, basically like a tax credit on if you live on the property.
Gotcha.
And then it's up to $30,000 for a married couple. So what they did is they actually went and compared like tax rolls to property owners, and where the residents were, and identified a bunch of people that were claiming homestead, but yet they didn't live there, so their taxes went up. And then, but they actually did discover a lot of people that weren't claiming a homestead exemption, and sent them a letter that said, "Hey, you should file for this because you'll save money." So they actually did something, positive. But, again, it's crazy, really how all that stuff, stuff works. And every 4 years, your shit gets reassessed.
Yeah.
And to your point on the unrealized gains, as business owners, it's not the small business owners like ourselves that, are ripping people off. It's not even the corporations, because what people don't understand is, we'll just use, Trump, for example. And he's like, well, I only paid X amount in income tax. I wish he wouldn't say that, because that gets used as a soundbite against him.
Yeah, yeah.
But what they don't realize is Trump Incorporated paid hundreds of millions of dollars in taxes.
And payroll.
In payroll and real estate, and all of that stuff. And, we're really the loophole for the uneducated people is Trump just took, like he just expensed out his life,
Mhm.
and then, at the end of the day, he gets a very small salary, but yet drives around in a jet and all those other things.
Yeah.
So, and it's the way that it's set up.
Yeah.
Um, but they get, these people just ride off this wave. But the other thing we mentioned this too is, real quick, just like we talked about earlier, is just the $50,000, uh, tax write off for small business. That is complete bullshit.
It would never pass. One, would never pass. Two, that money comes from somewhere.
Yes.
It will get taxed. They will make up for it, whether it's cost of good tax. They'll make up for it somewhere. Even though we're in trillions of dollars in debt still. I don't know.
Someone's paying for it, because you're not going to give the government less money.
Yeah.
But in perspective, though, like for a business, I haven't seen how they calculate that out, but just knowing normally the percentage that you pay in taxes to get that. I mean, basically, a small business would have to make close to $750 to $1 million
Mhm.
at current rates to get that deduction.
Yeah.
So, like, they're not going to give you that deduction if your business only made $10,000.
Gotcha.
I mean, because you get taxed at, anywhere between like 15 and 28%, just depending on, the structure. But it's like, you have to make all that money
Yeah.
to get that. Like, they're
Yeah.
just not going to be like, hey, you guys look cool, we're just going to give you 50,000,
Yeah.
$50,000 off.
Yeah.
The biggest way to grow, small business in this country is with less regulations.
Yep.
And when you're handcuffing small businesses when they have to get this license and that license. And I was telling you about the real estate exam. I mean, there was a dude in there, it was his second attempt to get his barber license.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah, you got to be shitting.
and he had a tight do, man. So, like, obviously he knows what's going to go on. Like,
Yeah.
what does a barber have to get licensed for?
Yeah.
Not to cut your ear off?
Also, we're paying taxes. I also want to know where every dollar is going of our taxes. And like they say we pay taxes, to fix roads. Our stuff's been under construction. How long has 80 been under construction for? Like, that's the other yeah.
Well, the other thing on the road, so an average road used to last 20 years.
Okay.
So when they would do like an overlay, that road would last 20 years. Well, now they've went through and they've changed the mix.
Mhm.
You're getting like 4 or 5 years out of it.
Yeah.
So it just costs so much more money. So, like, when you go to Europe, Europe's all like socialism, and it's just all like government stuff, and they just keep spending money and churning and like pulling everybody in the system. But truly the capitalism, free enterprise is what drives this stuff. So you look at the United States as a whole, and all these people that hate it. I mean, they can fuck off.
Yeah.
And saying, oh, we need socialism or communism. What good ideas come out of China? Nothing, besides TikTok.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what capitalism spurs ingenuity and free thought, because you have the ability, like your business and my business, the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
So you're going to start that business and build that new technology and do that new thing because you have the opportunity to get paid.
Yeah.
There's nothing that comes out of China.
Yeah.
China just steals all of our shit.
Also, not like not being taxed so much gives us the opportunity to put that capital into growing our business, either growing our business or providing more jobs for the community as well.
Absolutely.
So I really don't understand why people are like, honest to God, I don't really understand why tax the rich is such a big plan for them when the rich is providing all of the jobs. You know what I mean? Or have that tax deduction if they are providing the jobs. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
No, it's the more capital truly there's not every business owner wants to grow their business.
Yeah.
And to your point, without that, that taxation, because you get the shit taxed out of you as a business owner, and you don't get the benefits from it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but when you have
Yeah.
that capital, you're going to invest, back in your business, which is going to create more jobs and buy more supplies, materials, whatever that might be. But the big, like I said, the regulation, and like you said, the taxes, and the tax the rich, it's the Robin Hood theory.
Yeah.
Because it's a good soundbite, because like, oh, we've got to be mad at somebody and we got to blame somebody, and it's not your small business owner in the community, it isn't a baller.
Yeah.
I mean, even people that have small companies might have a valuation of $5-10 million. They're not the evil empire to you. Like, they're creating most of the jobs in your community.
Yeah. Yeah, they're the reason why the community is flourishing.
Yes.
And you can go to street concerts and go do all that stuff.
Exactly. And and I look at I even honestly look at and this is coming from the corporate world. Like, I look at like CEO compensation. And people like to throw that out, like, oh, the CEO of Boeing made $23 million or whatever. And when you're at that level, like, there's a crazy amount of expectations.
Yeah.
That to me warrants that compensation.
Yeah.
Or there should be, like, if you actually have a good board of directors that wants the company direction change and the profitability. I mean, you look at, the CEO of Walmart, Doug McMillon. Doug could never come on and do like what we just did.
Yeah.
Because if he says one wrong thing, and investors panic, and the stock price tanks by 50%,
It's on him.
I mean, that's billions of dollars.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of pressure, at those roles to perform, because I mean, you've got the shareholders, you've got the fiduciary responsibilities, to the company, so I'm just telling, like,
Believe it or not, that salary that he has is valuable to the company.
Exactly.
It's like, that is why they pay him that much.
I mean, that's why you pay him, and you're trying to, attract talent in those spots. And I mean, do you think that you're going to get the best person out there if you're paying him, $40,000 a year?
Yeah.
And
Could you imagine?
Yeah.
The guy making 40K.
40K
running Boeing.
Yeah. And it's just, but it kind of comes back to the, the education piece, for just people, they don't realize that. And they're like, well, well, I want that, or I want this. It's like, okay, in a capitalist society, you have that opportunity.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody's saying that you can't be, the next Elon Musk or Bezos or whoever that is. Like, you have that opportunity.
Yep.
I mean, all those dudes built their shit out of garages,
Yeah. Those are the coolest pictures to see, like the garage and then like the actual corporate office or something. Coolest pictures ever. I see those pop up on Instagram sometimes.
But Amazon actually did have an unfair advantage, though. Do you know what that was?
No, they were Amazon was a library at one point, right? Isn't that what
online books?
Online books.
But where Amazon had the unfair advantage, and it comes back to the point you made about taxes. So they were allowed to operate for years without being taxed.
How?
There was no sales tax on internet goods.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they had.
Do you know when that was?
When they implemented, I want to say it was actually pretty recently. I mean,
wow,
maybe 14, 15, maybe.
Wow.
So they got to operate for around 10 years without being taxed. So, like.
Is that why they grew so much?
Yeah. well, from
it definitely helped.
Well, you think about it, like, so when I mean, people probably price shop the shit out of you all the time.
Yeah.
And they go into a brick and mortar store who's paying property taxes and every goddamn tax under the sun. When they go buy that item, there's an extra 7-8% on it.
Yeah.
But then when they would go look online, they're like, well, I'm buying that item for this price.
That's crazy.
So it wasn't a free comparison. Like,
so we could either go, hey, tax them more, or just be okay with providing jobs to half the country.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
well, and they're, but the other thing that's, I feel is evil about, Amazon is like, they get you to sign up as an affiliate seller. And, you want to, put the Mullet Bros merchandise on there. Or you want to put Durham Opus on there. What they'll do is, they'll take you on as a seller, but then they'll take your merchandise and copy it.
Really?
And then they get that cheap Chinese shit like that shirt you had over there the other day.
Yeah, there we go.
So people are, going on thinking that they're buying your product, but they're buying somebody else's.
That checks out.
It's a horrible way to do. It's like an unethical way to do business.
Yeah.
And then what they'll do is they'll copy your item or likeness of it, and then they put their item at the top.
Yeah.
And yours is at the bottom.
That makes sense.
And it's like just, I don't know. Like I'm always a fan of just ethical capitalism. Like do what you say you're going to do, charge a fair price, and just don't break it off in people's asses, man.
Yeah.
Like it's horrible.
Yeah. Well, we need to.
Yeah, you're probably out of battery, man.
We
it's
need to imagine. Imagine it's dead. This was a good introduction / rabbit hole podcast. Dude, that is crazy. We're gonna have to. I hope you guys saw the value and we're taking notes. We'll probably have to literally make part of this podcast just clips.
Yeah.
That way people can actually gain from, or have time to gain from.
Yes.
But no, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you,
tonight.
man. I appreciate everything, man.
No, absolutely.
We'll
do it more often, and then what we'll do is like pick a topic, and there's no way we won't go down rabbit holes, but we'll try to stick to a theme.
Right. Well, I think it's the just there's such a broad thing and something that I'm super passionate about. That's why I'm, like vocal and I know you are too. And it's, this is the stuff that, gets me out of bed in the morning is to
100%,
come and share with folks and, kind of inspire them that like, hey, you can do hard shit.
Yeah.
And just don't quit.
Yeah.
And every day, just pick at it. And you're not going to fucking lose.
Yeah.
If you show up every day and do the work, you are not gonna fucking lose.
Yeah.
And
you only fail if you give up. So
that's the only time you fail.
Yeah.
Like you hear people say that, and it's hard to comprehend. But like you hear people say that, it's true.
It is true. Yeah.
I mean, you only fail when you fucking quit. Or the IRS is at your back door.
Yeah. Here we go. Here we go.
I'm in the big leagues, told her don't miss me. Ballin' like Houston, ayy, feeling like Whitney. I need a bag, bruh.